unmute. Hello, welcome. Yes, you can see my thing I was working on. Is
Hi,
there
everybody.
another animation in the future? Yeah, there is. There's also one coming out in the video on Friday. But hello, Estruck, Dichotomy, the two purple
Ori
people.
hasn't shared with me what this is.
This new one started animating. I'm making one extra background.
Oh, snap.
I had to make another background. I have to have the fourth courtroom angle, okay? We have the left, the right, and the judge, and now I need the fucking witness stand because it's... I'll give you a hint. Hello, Mason. Because it's...
Pretty amazing.
a door. What kind of stream is this again? This is Comic Corner, where we
Door.
talk about comic-related stuff sometimes, maybe. We
Because
talk
guess
about
what?
whatever.
Ori and I make a comic together.
Yes.
It's called Outcast. It's very fun. If you like pirates, if you like,
Yeah, you up to date, Dichotomy?
family.
With our deal?
Yeah. Don't think we forgot Dichotomy.
I don't know how you're seeing it, Estrog. There's no stand yet. It's just flags.
Not yet.
An open doorway. Did I screw up? I didn't screw up. I kind of screwed up, but not really. The door is hidden. I need to fix that.
You made it vanish. That's the
There
true
it is.
trick.
There's the door. Because
Oh,
I need to have the
my
door on a separate layer
indeed.
so it can
Warm.
open.
I'm so happy. This is important, guys. Crucial.
Oh.
Crucial piece of the puzzle.
I see Dichotomy. Mason in YouTube got in between your two things, so I did not associate them together. So is Acro not a witness? Oh, yeah. Oof. Oof.
You can see my
Uh,
thing. What kind of streams is it? Oh, I see. How
Yeah, I
it's two
see
sections.
how it got. Yeah. We don't acknowledge very
Okay.
hard. These flags
Dichotomy trying to be
seem
sussy
kinda
wussy.
dark.
Here we are going. We just want to promote our comic.
Mars is the
Is-
indie shill. She's not a corporate
Hey,
shill.
someone's got to do it.
All right.
Someone's got to do it.
So,
Might as well be me.
We have two options for what art Ori's drawing right now. Option one, I finished coloring this in, but we obviously don't animate anything. It's more which happens first, because both should happen. Or do we grade Mars's coloring on the most recent entry?
Grade my coloring. Grade my
Oh,
coloring.
damn, if Mars
I
is
could
asking
spin
for it.
Way too many fucking spots on his tail. But I
Mars
like
is asking for it's not a roast. I want to say the word roast, but I'm not gonna like roast her about it. But I don't know what else.
It's a roast. It's a roast.
Not
it's
a roast.
potluck. Bring your bowls.
I'm not
bring
gonna
your
insult her in
utensils.
any way.
We're having a meal tonight.
Honestly, how it's gone the past couple times is that I have realized a mistake of my own.
It's a light sear? Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'll walk away with some grill marks,
mean,
but
I'm
I'll
already-
live.
There it is.
I'll
I
live.
could not freaking find the goddamn folder. My brain just was not working.
I gotta say, for some reason, like when I have 3 weeks to work on it, I'm like, it's fine. When I got a fire lit under my ass, I'm banging out like 10 pounds.
Yeah, when
a
I'm like,
night.
Mars, I need this tomorrow. She's like, all right, bet. All right.
Base, let's go. I love working under pressure. Why the fuck do I do this to myself?
Ah, okay. So we get to add some stuff because I always add the freckles because
I'm
it's just
glad
easier
you're
that way.
getting a new principle, Struck. That word is outdated and should be treated as such.
Wait, what? A new...
Struck says, not one to ask about coloring. My principal called me the R word because I couldn't color.
Oh!
That is a cruel principle.
I'm
We
like
do not
trying to
stand.
read this under the context of I'm glad you're getting a new principal, that one's outdated. And I'm just like, my brain kind of short-circuited is like, why are, like, Like a washing machine that is
Oh,
too
yes,
old?
principal
Like,
is
I'm so...
outdated, too. Yes, exactly. It's too old. It's using
Okay.
derogatory words.
I
We gotta throw it in the
understand.
trash.
I understand how we got there now. But I just like... I understand how we squared the circle, but I couldn't do it. Like, my brain was not desiring that.
I gotcha.
Okay. Let's save this.
No, I know not now, Estrock, but I hope that principal learned their lesson.
Well, now you can color in the lines, Estruck, so there's no... You don't have to test it. You don't have... You would have to check by, like, not coloring in the lines near them, you know?
You won. You proved them wrong.
Yeah, spite.
Also, why was your principal even there?
Yeah.
Why do
I
they
guess,
care
like,
what
the
first and
shadowing.
second graders are up to?
I guess, like, that shadowing, you know, when they, like, sit in the back of the class and just watch you, and your
Yeah, but
teacher's
that's
always
to
like...
stress out the teachers, not the students.
Some administrators are just bitches, okay? Like, I don't know. Why is this...
It'd be that way. It'd be that way.
Why does that say Master 2? What is that?
I don't know. None of us can see what you're talking about, Ori.
Yeah, because I don't need y'all looking in my fucking files or anything. Seeing all my weird shit. What is entry Master 2? Oh, is this because I didn't originally line it all? I think that's all it was. Yeah, I think that's all it was. Oh god, oh no. I have so many feathers to render. Okay.
Why is all the color gone?
I was looking at a different file, Mars.
Okay.
I was checking.
Terrified me.
I was checking.
Like, I covered that shit.
I was checking what Master 2 was, because usually Master 2 is the one that I use for the flats when I start working on them to finish them. So it was like weird. I was like, where's Master... Why is this say Master 2? This is not clipped.
Ooh. Okay, so extend the...
So, yeah. So the way that this works is this is like a fin on the end of his foot. So just like... So this extra line here is being shown through the mildly transparent fin. If that makes any sense.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you have to like...
Hello, Vanilla.
Hello, Vanilla. You have to imagine it like that line isn't there. Because, like, for this part, for the fin part. Because that's the line of the foot, not anything to do with the fin line.
Me.
Yep.
That threw
And
me.
so same thing on this side. So it's mostly just a thing when you see it, like, on the angle. And then, because we talked about the bottoms of his feet.
This is an opportunity for me to learn, too.
So when you actually look at the Sinet reference, his feet... Let me bring up the Sinet reference so I can talk about it. And make sure I'm not talking out of my own butt. Because that happens sometimes, like with eyebrows. Well, I wasn't talking out of my own butt for that. But I was... Yeah, okay.
There's always a chance. The chances are never zero.
It is not zero, because I checked because you asked the question. And so when you look at Sinet, you see how the white line... Ah, okay, so even we were both wrong with the fin a little bit. So, sadly, I did not color these in very well. But, so the fin part is all brown. And then the edge of the fin is the white. And then the toe is white, not the fin. Because his foot is white. So, the edge of his foot fin... His foot fin is all brown. The fin part.
Mm-hmm.
And then the white is actually on his foot. And so you put that on the foot and you trace that over and around. Kind of like he has a little tiny, like, slipper on, I guess? I don't know how to describe it that well. You can see it on screen better than anything. New Kappa. Oh, gosh.
Ooh. I'm blanking on what that is.
That's the Child's like Protection Act for like YouTube and stuff, right? Isn't that the thing where it's like now you have to write like it's made for kids or not for kids and stuff? I think that's what that is. Okay. So we have this, right? So his whole foot fin is brown, and then just the edge, the outer edge is also white on the reference. I've looked at the reference, so I'm not pulling out of my butt. And then he's got 2 little dots on either outer edge. So there we go. There's the correct sit-it foot. Ta-da! Children Online Protection Act. There you go. Well, there's another P in there, isn't there? So I don't know what the second P is. But hello, penguin. The first thing you see is his feet. I mean, they're good feet. Look at his feet. Alright, let's look at this in it. He needs freckles, but that's my job. That's not Mars for getting anything.
Now, I will admit some of the Senate stripes on the hair might be messed up.
They look okay right now. I will say sometimes I go and fix them like after the rendering, and I'm like, this one I feel. This looks like this should be a piece of hair. So we're gonna add that in there. I'm not gonna fault you on that. That's an erroneous piece of hair. Good. You need freckles, sun, lad. Beautiful. Good.
Okay, this one is done.
Okay.
Done. Cry freedom.
Now I have to look at something. Yeah. Okay, something's weird here.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure this was not his tail.
So it is his tail. It's the angle. So it is his tail. It's the angle of the tail. No. So I know what the problem is. Yeah, hold on.
I gotta be honest, I had no idea what was happening there.
No, that's... I know what it is.
He now has stump tail.
It's just the way... Yeah, you're over, and then it's like... Because that is the one end. I think I'm missing a line there.
Okay.
We will... It's definitely the tail in a part of it, but the other part is his shirt. So that's why it's kind of weird. So let me...
Because I know he has that split in the back
where
the shirt can come through.
Oh, I know what happened! I figured out what happened. So this...
It is his goddamn
shirt,
isn't it?
It's all his shirt, because where you were thinking the middle line is actually Hotsun's arm. This is Hotsun's arm. That's the problem.
That makes sense.
Online protection acts, exactly. Don't be sorry, Mason. I don't even know what you're being sorry for. Oh. Do you have any critique for your comic? No, Mason, I think you're doing good. I think it's really, it's definitely a little tough to, you know, until you get into the meat of it, and I don't think it's slow, because comics are just on the slower end, but I don't think the pacing is bad, you know, like, I'm not saying it's like, oh, we haven't gotten to the meat of it yet. Just like, we're still in setup mode, and I think everything's going fine, you know? I feel like I know what's going on, you know? So I'm not lost. There's definitely things to think about, like, Addie's little, we're walking, you know? What's that about, Addie? Yet to learn that. So I think it's going good so far. Oh, wait. I remember the problem is that the guidelines were extremely vague. They were extremely vague, yeah. They were horrifically vague. It was a big problem, especially in, like, doll customization, toy reviews, because a lot of those aren't for children. They're for parents who are going to buy the children's toys for kids, or, like, doll customization is, like, a form of art that is not usually for children, because they use a lot of tools and stuff that is not children friendly. It was a whole thing. Yeah, it was really, really bad. It was like, really like slapdash 2 to my understanding. Like, why avoid cool, awesome, epic, and bright colors? No, yeah, exactly. Everyone likes bright colors, my guy. Okay, so Mars, I'm sorry that you spent all that time trying to put the stripes in there just for me to wipe them away.
My labor.
Hodson looks great. Look at this one. I love this one a lot. I'm really happy with this one. He's great. Look at him. Look at the boy. He's so good.
He's not fearful. He's not scared.
Oh, but you got Hodson down to a T. Got Milano.
Sarcastic.
Oh, Milano's not holding buckets yet. That's on me. That was because I was like lined these. I thought I was done lining everything, and then I was like, oh shit, it's not lined. And
yeah,
so,
some of these look really interesting when there aren't the little
extra
items.
Like you can see. Hands. Usually I would have drawn them together, but like you can see he's supposed to have like a bucket with shit in it. But I didn't do that.
Charisma struck. I see.
And this is on me, not you, Mars. But I didn't draw his hand scales, so I have to fix that. Now I have to look at Aster's reference.
Yeah, there is a likely chance that I screwed up the inside feathers.
Yeah,
I think I did better than usual. The boy do be mopping. Hello, pastry puff.
The boy do be mopping. Am I being weird? No. Okay, that might be for a different day, but that's not anything egregious. I think some of them should be black. Also, okay, this part, I don't know what happened.
Mason, I gotta say, while that sounds awesome, we just don't have the technology for a blood transfusion in the Outcast world.
Oh, yeah,
That's just not possible.
Not really a thing.
Scientifically, give it a few years.
I also don't want to have to be concerned with about how blood types may or may not work in Outcast. So,
I'm not, as a writer, I am not touching that.
Yeah, we're good. Alright, one tiny thing, Mars, was...
be hurt and harmed.
I think this would have to be...
But they won't be getting a blood transfusion,
okay,
sadly.
I have realized what happened, so I can fix it. So these... is one missing a line. That's on me. One line. So that's fine. However, you did it right besides that in this area. So this bottom part is white.
Under it should be a different color.
But then this... see, this area here under the broom?
I do.
That should be the light gray. You made it black. Like, it would track. You see how his arm, like, tracks down? So that would be the light gray. And then so...
my understanding was the feathers closest to the hand are usually black. That's what I was going off of.
Yeah, so that would be... So it's a problem with overlapping, and it's like a lot of judging it. So at best, I would say maybe these two I'll make black. This is more just like... this is something where it's like, I'm feeling it or not. So don't worry, like, too hard. But these here were definitely the gray. Because that makes... because these last long set have to be black. And so I was like, the layers don't make sense. So, like, that one's not going to be black. This one will be black. And you got that right in the back here. He just had, like, way too much white. I'm like, this isn't it, Chief. I don't know what's going on here.
Right.
And then I figured it out.
We gotta do the maths.
Yeah. I think somebody knew kind of... yeah. I think Cocomelon happened after, Kappa, didn't it? Kappa's kind of old.
I think so.
There is not a year equivalent, Mason, and the reason for that is because I refuse to have Sinnet be like a doctor level knowledge of the time that it would have to take place in, I refuse. I won't do that.
Yeah.
I can't.
I didn't like
I
it
need
either.
him
That
to
wasn't
be
the vibe.
slightly
We were going for
more.
definitely like recognizable as pirates while balancing it with a more timeless feel.
A Senate Square.
So it kind of takes place everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yeah, it's very like
classic
fairy tale
tale.
logic, where it's definitely
Yeah.
not modern, and so, but it's definitely not like,
We do have the conveniences of soap.
yeah,
Knowing that
soap
eating
and knowing
oranges
that
keeps
washing
away
your hands
scurvy.
and you need citrus and whatever, and like, you know, infection, that's like a big one in my opinion. We understand
I would compare
sanitation.
I would compare it to the warrior cats. They have warrior cat level knowledge of medicine.
Yeah,
Where it's like, we know
exactly.
these plants can help certain ailments. And we use
Yeah,
them because
exactly,
we know they work.
Struck. No, see, and that's exactly what I
No.
didn't want, Mason. I didn't
That's
want
what we didn't want to
freaking
happen.
leeching and bloodletting being like, this is like, I needed, yeah, no 300% fatality rate surgery
Yeah,
here. Very
no.
important. That's very important to the story. Multiple people in the
We're
story would be
definitely
dead if that was the
playing
case.
Fast and loose with this.
Yeah, it's very like,
But I like to think it
bushcraft?
makes sense in the context of the world we've created.
yeah, it's very like fairy tale bushcraft.
Exactly,
Basically pastry puff. There's a level of like would Sinnott say something along the lines of there's germs? Probably not. But does he recognize the fact that clean hands make good things and I should clean my tools and and all this sort of stuff? Yes. Only fear you have is leeches, not any other parasites,
Well, luckily,
Estruck.
you will not have to see them in the comic.
Yes, there won't be leeches.
You will be spared.
But yeah, there's a level of science that is like, we have done the scientific method to understand that operating on people with clean tools is better than not clean tools. Do I necessarily understand all of the nuances as to why that is? Maybe not. But I know that that is a fact, right? Like we have done that test, right? Those sort of things. Oh, yeah, no, Estrak, thankfully I was not bitten by a leech because I had waders on. Well, they weren't waders. I had muck boots on. But when I was in, my field study summer course, but for lack of better examples, it's literally college summer camp, for bio nerds. And I was in a wetlands course, and we went in this one. It was like a lake, and they had leeches there. But I was wearing waders because I refused to be wet. I hate being wet in my clothes, and it was very hot and like very sunny.
You're a person that does enjoy that.
Okay. I enjoy it to like the autistic level of like I can't deal with it. Like I will have an issue. I will do extreme things to have the wet fabric not touching me. Those things.
Oh no, I get that. I'm just wondering who's the opposite of that. Who's like, yes, wet clothes.
I don't know. I guess I associate people who are like, yes, I will go out and stand in the rain fully dressed as people who enjoy that to a certain extent. Because like, you're doing that.
Not waders, Penguin. Waders.
Yeah. So that's the English
They're a
accent,
type
the
of
American accent. Going on. Yeah, like that. I had this exact argument with Dylan.
Was going to have waders in one of his early concept designs.
Yes, he was. I really wanted waders. I really wanted waders. We couldn't make them work, but I really wanted them. See there, look at Esther now. Now he looks right. Now there's not too much white color on those things there.
Finding a broken twig a Star Wars reference? No. Because I'm not sure what that would be referencing in Star Wars, to be honest. I'm trying to remember if they stepped on something.
I'm not sure.
But that was actually plot relevant.
It is plot relevant, yeah.
That's very plot relevant.
America, yeah. But no, Penguin, I had this exact argument with Dylan, also a born and raised American, okay, who I was telling him, you know, similar stories about using waders, right? Hip waders, or you have hip waders and you have chest waders. Those are the two kinds. So hip waders are like really tall boots that come up to your hips, but they're separate and they're like really big and they come up right to your hips and kind of over your hips, and sometimes they like clip onto your belt or something. Chest waders are like big overalls. And so they're all one piece attached, so you can get wet, you know, up to your waist usually, because if you get too high, obviously it'll spill over the sides, and that's just bad. Why did you do that? But, so I was telling Dylan all about this, and Dylan's like, why are you talking about people who serve me my dinner? And I'm like, Dylan, I'm not. I'm talking about waiters, the thing that keep you from wet. That's Hooters, Penguin. But, like, you know, the things that stop you from getting wet when you're in the thing, you know? And he's like, I'm not talking about waiters. And he's like, oh, then why don't you say waiter? And I'm like, I did say waiter, Dylan. And he was like, no, but I say waiter. And I was like, Dylan, no, you fucking don't. No, you don't. He's like, yes, I do. I say waiter. And it's like, Dylan, no, you do not. And then I literally, at one point in the back.
Nobody does. Because what your tongue is doing during the word waiter, it's a tongue tap. It's not a
waiter.
Full, like in
waiter
or top or two. You're not doing waiter. You're doing waiter. It's a quick tongue tap.
Well, in so the UK, I guess my British accent, I would say waiter, waiter. Can you get the waiter? There's no R.
They don't have very harsh R's.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
English, British.
Cuddle slop like pet dog. Hello, Enthuse. Yeah, no, that's what I said, Enthuse. That's what I said.
No, Enthuse, that's literally what happens with that alveolar tap. That is exactly what happens. It goes to a quick little D.
But specifically when there's an R involved. Like a lot.
Yes.
It's usually an R or an L. Winner. Water. Those are some R's.
Yeah, you don't say water, you go water.
Water.
I want some
water. Or it's summer, spring, fall, and winter.
And that's because,
winter.
Guys, articulation is difficult. Your brain has to coordinate all that movement, send all those electrical impulses from your brain to the muscles that move your articulators, the lips, the tongue, the teeth, for all that movement to form those sounds. Sometimes what our brains like to do is take shortcuts because our brains are very efficient at getting stuff done, especially speech. This is actually how we run into things like omissions of certain consonants in words. Like, for example, you have what's called S clusters. Think of the word speech. Some kids will pronounce it as seech or peach, dropping one of those first consonants. And the reason for that is because to them, it's quicker to say it without that second consonant. Their brain wants to do it that way because it's the easier way of doing it. The problem is it leads to miscommunications and fluency issues.
Well, especially when peach is a whole nother word on its own.
Exactly. And that's the fun of English, is once you drop a letter, you can change the entire meaning of a word.
Look at him! Look at them! Love it! Mwah! Sometimes I am very happy with my art. That's a lie. I'm happy with my art a lot of the time.
I don't think I've ever seen Ori not happy with her art.
This is definitely a lie. I have definitely been like, Mars, it's something here, and I'm like, eh. And I, like, accept and move on.
Okay, but I've never seen you go like, I hate it, it's awful. I've never seen that.
Usually, I think the worst was I struggled really hard with that, Fox, character for Dylan that one time. Struggled really hard there. The art was just not art.
First time doing a muzzle.
It's definitely not my first time, but I don't do it very often. I have since improved without trying very hard, if I'm being honest. Ooh, all right. This is not so... Okay, two things here, actually.
All right. What do we got? What do we got?
You did his feet nearly right
learning.
here. 3 things. So, 1, you did his feet correct with the toe. I'm just smoothing it out a little bit here. Correct with the foot.
I know I'm missing the heel part where that
You're
should
missing
be.
the heel
Looking
part here.
Mason.
Yep. But the last thing, you did forget the outer line
Oh, is that where it comes from?
of the
I had
fin.
no idea that clip existed, Mason. Thanks for sharing. Now I know.
Oh, where the Star Wars reference came from?
Yeah, I will say that whole interaction is not a reference. That whole interaction is actually super duper important to the plot.
Yeah. So you can see here, Mars, I added the white line at the end of the fin. That's what you gotta do.
Oh,
And then
I
the 2
see,
dots
okay.
on the outer edge of the fin.
That's
Right, so
what
the
I was
outside.
forgetting. Okay.
Yeah. So now I am very sorry, but I do have to fix the tail because you
Ooh.
thought about it a cylinder in the wrong direction. So his tail is behind him. So it's going behind him. Okay. So the cylinder would look like, let me get the better pen to sketch it. So the cylinder looks like that. Right, because it's going away from us, so you have to curve the other way. Yeah, that's what you did with that one.
I'm so sad. Those stripes look amazing.
I'm sorry. It's just curving in a weird way. I must fix it.
God damn it.
The legs have been great though, Mars. You've gotten his legs down. I will say these, chef's kiss.
I know, and look at all those spots.
Yeah.
They're varying in size and placement.
It's great.
Oh,
You definitely get it vast majority of the time, Mars. You know, don't beat yourself up. What causes the orange... I'm gonna say it wrong because I'm not gonna say it how I say it because I'm
origins mix up.
because orange and origin. That's why orange and orange.
I mean,
that's why.
So I'm trying to think if I could think of
an orange and an orange and an orange.
That's an ah. That's produced at the back of the mouth, whereas so it is a fun one because if I'm remembering correctly. It's not a fully frontal sound, but it's also not all the way in the back, at least to my knowledge. Let me pull up the speech quadrilateral for a second. This thing is fun. If you guys ever want to have a fun night. Okay. Mid-high for I. Okay, so you're talking about oranges, that as in the back of the mouth. It is in the front. So with that one, you're more.
That is true dichotomy.
Placement. I guess it's just if you say it quickly, it comes out sounding like oranges or origins. Origins. I guess if I heard it fast, I'd get them confused, but I feel like the N helps distinguish it enough that even if you did mix up the vowels.
Orange and origins. Orange and origins. That's why.
They sound like 2 totally different words to me.
Orange and origins. Or origins. There's a second half to origins.
Do you say it like orange, or do you say it
I
like orange?
definitely don't say orange. I say orange. Orange.
So yours is entirely different. You're not
Yes.
saying it with an or, you're saying it with
No.
an R.
Yeah. Just like horror.
And that
Horror.
is a dialectal difference.
It's because my parents are New Yorkers.
With that R. So that's interesting. That's interesting because when you're doing that oranges, your tongue is already at the back of your mouth for that initial ah.
Yeah.
It's
There's
not
no O
hanging out in
noise.
the middle for origins, like origins. So yours is very distinguished. You can tell it apart.
Oh yeah. Because I don't say origins. It's an orange. Oh god, I've fucked myself in the brain right now.
Fridge, I'd be like, oh, I'm looking for an orange.
I'm looking for an orange. Yeah, that's what
I'm looking for an orange.
I need an orange. Orange juice.
I'm hungry for an orange.
Orange juice. Orange. I didn't say origin. Yeah.
Ori is.
Ari. Yeah, Ari. Like horror movies. But I say forest. It's not forest like other people with that same dialectic thing would say. It's forest.
For me, it is forest.
It's forest. But you say horror, right? It's horror. It's a horror movie. I don't like horror movies.
I'm going to watch a horror movie.
See?
Yeah, I say horror.
Horror movie.
Which is interesting.
It's a horror movie. Oh. Okay. At least I'm not alone there.
I'll allow that.
Yes, Penguin, yes.
Sorry, Penguin. They were holding your quote in Twitch jail. I freed it.
Oh, it's, yeah. Thank you, Mars. Ugh. But back to the art thing. Yeah, Dichotomy said that I have said, like, oh, no, I don't like that, but I change it. Yeah, I think it's more like, what I mean when I say is, like, a lot of artists talk about, like, hating everything they make, or like, you know, it's very rare that the thing in the end is something that they like or whatever. And I definitely have certain times where I'm like, this is a sketch and it like didn't turn out how I wanted to, but like I know that I could rework it or make it. But there's also a difference, like I am very proud of this Sinnit. I'm very proud of how he looks. He looks like how Sinnit in my head always looks to me, versus sometimes Sinnit is like kind of off model a little bit. Even I would say this one is a little like, you know, like a little, this one though, on point. This is how Sinnit looks to me. You know, it happens with Hotsun sometimes too. There's like, in the last one, Hotsun has very big eyes in like the final panel. And, you know, I have noticed that. I have recognized that.
Eyes.
I just kind of accepted that that's how it was going to be because I did not have the time, energy, you know, to fix it, to change it. But, would I have if I could? Maybe. I don't think he looked bad. He just looked different. And that's something else you kind of have to get over. And I think the comic really, really, really allowed me to get over that, is the fact of, like, you know, I mean, in Dichotomy's server, an artist was basically talking about that, having to get over that I don't have to be on model all the time, or I don't have to be, like, you know, on top of it all the time. And it's like, as long as the characters are recognizable enough and being, quote-unquote, off-model, you can get away with a lot. Both in, like, I mean, I would even say, look at Steven Universe. The earlier episodes have a lot of, quote-unquote, off-model things. It was so sort of, loose that people could and did identify which, like, storyboard artist it was who did, like, the episode or whatever, because of, yeah, Origin, there you go. Gosh, Dichotomy. What is the longest one-syllable word? My brain says it's school, but I don't know. School is a really long word that is one syllable that I always like. I'm like, wow. It has so many letters, and you're only one syllable. That's crazy. But the comics has definitely helped with that.
Oh, squirreled?
Squirreled. Yeah, I guess that is one syllable. Squirreled.
Squirreled.
Squirreled. I squirreled it away. Squirreled it away.
I squirreled it away.
Yeah.
I can't even make that 2 syllables.
Squirreled. That's how you make it. I squirreled it. Not I squirreled it.
Okay, there we go.
Squirreled it. A comparison image of Pearl at the Soto series and Pearl at the end. She looks so different in the stream. Oh, Pearl from Steven Universe? Yeah, there's a lot of differences. I mean...
Oh, I thought Asa turned.
Yeah, I was like, doesn't she get older? Like, I would hope she looks different. No, but, my brain just died. Try again.
Reset. Reboot.
Yeah, and you do see it in, like, shows that have run a long time, too. If you look at, like, early Adventure Time episodes versus later Adventure Time episodes, there is a difference.
Oh my god, so different.
And there's, of course, specific points when you're supposed to go off model. I mean, we, really tout Jujutsu Kaisen for having specific points where they purposefully go off model and do certain things to push movements, to push expressions and all that sort of stuff. But it's one of those things where, like I said, if your character is recognizable enough, people don't really notice it. Like you do. Not even Mars notices as much as I do, It's just kind of how it is.
I definitely don't. I'm just like, oh, look at my boys.
But I definitely have certain... I have less panels that I'm like, I hate this is bad, because I will fix that. I will do that. I know if I know I can do better.
Early Simpsons definitely had that hand-drawn charm to it.
Yeah. No, exactly, Pastry Puff. Yeah. And, but then there's also panels where I can look at it and be like, very happy about this one.
Hell off model.
Squirreled only works in an American accent? I squirreled it away. Squirreled. That's still one syllable. Squirreled.
Try
I love it when you call me senorita. I squirreled it away. I squirreled him. Squirreled me gold. Me pot of gold. Squirreled it. You're saying it fast. Squirreled it.
We squirreled it away. For a rainy day. A rainy? Nope. That's not what I meant to say.
It's not an accent day, my guys. I gotta tell you.
Whenever you say that, I will forever remember Dylan's line.
Friday the 13th.
All accents are crap now.
Yeah. The turd thief. Do I have a favorite Simpsons episode? I never really watched The Simpsons. My mother was very against me watching The Simpsons when there was a time when I had an interest in watching it. I watched a small portion of a singular episode in 5th grade because we were learning about invasive species, and there's a Simpsons episode that is like ends with the frogs like taking over Australia or whatever, and then they're like helicoptering back and there's a koala on the helicopter, and it's like a dun 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 sort of thing that like, we're bringing back the koala, even though koalas are bitches, they would never live. They could not be invasive species if they tried. And
nope.
So that's basically it.
For it.
They literally can't recognize it as eucalyptus food if the leaves aren't on a branch. They're really bad at adaptation. They are very specialized.
Koalas are kind of dumb.
Oh yeah. No, that they're going extinct. Same with pandas. Sorry about that, guys. But both of those animals we're keeping alive. It's us.
That's all on us.
And it's just because they're cute. Red and the Yeti G. The Kakapi. Yes. The great thief Doodoo G. Oh my god.
The legendary Poop de Boop.
Speaking of squirrel, your roommate pronounced rural as I don't know the thing. Mars.
I think that's rural.
Rural. I don't know why.
It's definitely not how I would say it, I think.
That's like squirrel and rural are like ones that like a lot of English as a second language speakers have issues with. There's a funny, you guys probably have seen them, I would be impressed, but there's a woman, her name is Yuen, and she's a Vietnamese woman who has moved to Germany with her German boyfriend, now German fiance, and they both speak English. Like all rural.
All
Rural.
Rural.
Ew.
That's
Ew.
interesting.
Rural, y'all! That's what I can think of. Are they southern enthused? Are they from the south? Squirrel! Squirrel! I still
They're
say squirrel!
rural. I don't know, is that southern?
I'm just saying it rhymes
I'm
with
curious,
y'all.
enthused. Where does your roommate originate from? Where is their origin?
Yeah, their origin.
Where is their orange?
But so she made like a little short. She does like, you know, content creation, and she made like a little short, and it was like, oh look, you know, look, German boyfriend, they just discovered a new wolf. For wolf, she couldn't do the L, so it's a wolf, and he was like, aw, say wolf again, and she's like. And she's like angry, and she's like, say it, and she's showing up a sign with the word, and he's like, red wine, and she's like, flips it, say one, this one, squirreled, and she flips it again, and it says rural on it, and she's like, say it, it's like, no, don't make me, and she's like, say it, torturing him. Dual. That's more like duel. I don't know, like let's have a duel. Like it sounds more of like a way to make duel sound weird than duel, you know? Isn't it? It sucks when you start saying words and then you realize you pronounce them really similar. You're like, these are different words.
It does.
And then they're not.
This is why language is such a fun field of
Moral
study,
power,
you guys.
Yeah. Scots can't say purple burglar alarm, please. But you've seen similar stuff with Baltimore accents. There was one, it was like, I think it was Irish, and it would say like, and she had like 3 words, and they were all like identical, but she went into it being like, nah, they're different, and then by the end she was like, oh god, I say them all the same.
I love the shorts where they start off confidently, and then as it goes on, they're like, oh shit.
I love that short where it's like a guy, it's obviously a TikTok first, but it's a British guy, and he's like stitching another guy who's like a language, like an English as a second language teacher guy kind of thing, and so he's like showing all these pictures, and he's like, what is this? And he shows like a skeleton, and the guy's like, a cadaver, and he's like, a skeleton. What's this? A manor, haunted house. What's this? Shows a skull. The cranium. It's a skull. It just goes on like that. He says a correct but different word in a deep voice, like English accent. And then he just makes all these noises, and the faces he's making is hilarious. Aaron earned an iron urn for the Baltimore accent. No, it's pack the cat and add backyard. That's all I could ever think of. Park the car and add backyard.
Park the car.
You know what that's from, right? I told you what that was from.
I'm pretty sure you did, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay. In the most recent animated show of Carmen Sandiego, she has these sidekick characters, and they're both from Boston, and they both have very, very distinct Boston accents, and they're great, and they're brother and sister, and they have to basically infiltrate the evil organization that Carmen escaped from and is now fighting, but she can't do it because they know her face, and Ivy, the sister, can't do it because they've also seen her face working with Carmen, so the only one that can do it is the brother, but it's like a very high class like event, so he can't be like, you know, himself, like they have to teach him how to fit in for this like event, how to lay low, and so they're doing like accent training, right? And so she's like, you park the car in our backyard, and he's like, pack the cat and add backyard, and then she's like, no, and then they keep doing like montage shit, and then at the end he fucking walks in, suit, hair slicked back, top tier shit, and he just goes, I parked the car in our backyard, and it's like, thank you, sir. Yes.
Damn.
The concept of a mid-Atlantic accent is very interesting. Jinx.
Jinx.
Double jinx. Blackout, you always on a 1, 2, 3, knock on wood.
Damn it!
I think I won.
Fuck! I'll be sure to bring
Yes!
soda the next
Yes,
time we
pastry
hang
buff,
out.
you know what I'm talking about. It's such a good video. I've seen so many, like, people use that sound. Ooh, that's another good one,
Dear, how could you
Penguin.
not?
Yes. Ugh. I'm not doing enough of this. So this is not something you did, Mars. This is just, his gills show a little bit here. But it's not something I've taught you to do, because if I'm being honest, it's just kind of vibe, and I didn't draw them in.
You have not taught me how to do the gills.
Yeah. That's something where if Cynic goes shirtless for a long period of time, we may cover. But when it's just like every once in a while there's a little peek through, I ain't gonna.
Once in a while you got a little peek of the show, the
Yeah,
game show.
I ain't gonna go too crazy about it.
Oh, the old cartoons are so good, Estrock. I still watch them from time to time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but I'm still proud of those legs.
They're good legs. You did good. I'm just putting in,
Did
he
I
has a
color
little
the
tummy
pants the
fade.
wrong color?
No. I put a thing on top that I've had to remove. Because he has like a mild fade of his skin from his skin tone to his like shark skin tone.
I see.
So I added that, and now I have to erase it from the parts where it doesn't exist.
That little whittle transition.
Yes.
Very nice.
Ooh. That's all good. That looks all good. Look at me doing a stupid.
Oh no. What happened?
I forgot some lines.
Really? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, they don't affect you.
Well, it depends. Oh, are those the lines I think they are?
Yeah, they are.
They actually super affect me. Those are plot.
Oh, I mean, like, not for coloring. So you wouldn't have noticed
Well,
them.
not for coloring.
Oh, and I forgot
Those
his
lines
fucking
affect
lapel
me. They're
here.
plot related.
Yeah, all lines affect you. But not how I meant. I also forgot his lapel, apparently, in both of these shots. Look at me go.
Oh.
See, I told you.
Wowzers.
Sometimes it's
Can you
not...
tell we were, like, crunching to get these done, guys?
Yeah, this is why we have hiatuses, because
Yeah.
literally, oh my lord above.
Oy.
And this is why before we ever publish it as a print version, there will be multiple rounds of checking.
With a fine tooth comb.
I do know for a fact that there are multiple places where there is bad continuity of Hotson's bag, and I was aware of them, but I chose to, like, that's another...
Bag. Hotun's bag is literally Schrodinger's bag.
Yeah.
It disappears, it reappears, it vanishes.
Sometimes he has it,
totally
sometimes he's not.
perfect.
Alright. Mars
I love
mistake.
it. It's great.
This is his shirt,
what'd
not
we
his
do?
skin.
Which part?
This small inner part.
Oh,
And
that
then-
was a crease. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
His bag does teleport, Penguin. We don't know where to.
Ah.
We don't know where it goes.
So then also this is his pants.
Oh, okay.
That's his other leg. It's a perspective thing. It's weird.
Yeah. There's also no line for it.
Well, there's a top line for it, but there's not a bottom line because there's a box. So there will be a box. Yeah, I do hope...
Hotun's bag was sacrificed.
I do hope for the next round to do better at having the backgrounds in before you have to color. At least the parts they're interacting with. I know you remember, but I, like, lined this, like, right before I gave it to you.
Oh, I see.
And sometimes I'm just lazy. Sometimes I am definitely like, I need to get these lines done so Mars can color it, and she's not coloring this part, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was like, it's okay if pieces are missing. I gotta say, with this entry, this was
Just like
the
I
entry
didn't
where
draw
when
his
I used
arm.
the wand tool to close the lines to make it easier to color. It had the most open spaces of any entry I've colored thus far.
Yeah, and it's definitely because I really, like, went through these lines.
Going on.
Yeah, I, like, really went through it on these lines because I could have sworn they were done. 7-hour video essay
Damn,
on why
7-hour
Outcast
video
sucks because of
essay.
super small issues.
I'd be honored just to get a video.
Yeah, honestly, if we're like known
Even if you're
enough.
ranting that you hate it, I'm like, I'll take the Jack Sparrow approach, but you have heard of me.
Yeah, literally. But also, like, you're putting in the time at that point, you know, to suss them out that hard.
And clearly you've consumed the content.
Yeah, that's why, oh my god, every time there's, like, a theory, I'm like, Mars and I are, like, giddy for, like, the rest of the week. Oh my god. So fun.
I could have, like, the worst sessions ever and be like, but somebody has a theory
But
about
somebody had a
Outcast,
theory about Outcast.
and it made me happy.
Because y'all are thinking about it. Or, oh, we see the comments on when I see a comment on the webtoon, also so happy.
Ah, also brings me such joy. We keep those comments. We put them
No,
in a
people
special little
do need to
channel
freaking
just
chill.
for us.
I think what happened, Estrock, was CinemaSins going too far. Cause when it first, like when CinemaSins was like first a thing, it definitely felt like this was a joke. You know, like this is haha funny. You know, there's small little errors, interesting that you like picked up on them or whatever, you know, at least that's how I felt about it. But then as I've gotten into it, they like put out shit that is like, that's not even like a thing, my guy. Like, I don't even, can we not?
It's funny, I used to follow
yeah.
CinemaSins.
I'm watching
'cause it
like a
was some of their
7-hour video right now.
content was funny, and I enjoyed it, but then it got too nitpicky, and I was like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, there's a point when it's like, oh, this is like interesting, and then there's a point when it's like, oh, this is just annoying.
Yeah. That's why I switched over to Cinema Wins.
Yes, Cinema Wins is a good
Sometimes
vibe.
you gotta acknowledge that, hey, there's good stuff out there, and we should acknowledge it. Focusing on all the bad all the time ain't good.
This is good
The
here.
reason I can't really share on those theories because I beta read your stuff, so I'm the only one in the know about the spoilers.
If
so
I'm
I'll turn
being
the action over
honest,
to
Mason,
Kat and Ori.
if I'm being completely honest, I have theorized about one show really hard, and that's Link Click. And literally every other media, the only reason there's theories involved is because Mars starts it. And then it's like, okay, now the brain may work a little bit, but...
You know how Ori starts theorizing about To Be Hero X? I started it.
Yeah, literally!
That's the recent one.
It's, no, literally the only reason that I
was
had
not a
any,
thing until
like...
I was like, Ori, please watch!
No, literally, the only reason that I had, like, any, like, focused watch the first time of it, was because you had, like, written so much about it at the beginning. And I was like, okay, I have to, like, actually watch this. I have to, like, actually sit here and watch this.
Click is releasing it. How could I not?
I will say, but I definitely, like, really was, like, starting it on this most recent Link Click season. I did, like, a lot of work on that one. I have more Googling than I think I ever had.
Losing that day during season
I was
3.
like,
We had
oh
the
my
translators
god.
out. We had like we were translating the news clips in the show because Crunchyroll didn't do it for us. We were sleuthing.
Oh, I didn't know that pastry puff, but that makes sense. That makes sense. Why the bus is a problem, and we want to walk to school. Very good.
That checks
No,
out.
Link Click really is.
Well,
I will say, when there's like a definitive mystery element, I definitely am a little more thinking about it. Like, I definitely, like, sit there and think about, like, Apothecary Diaries, like, episode for episode a little bit every time, because I want to get the answer, right? Dr. Amaku, same thing, you know, like I said, link
Mason
click.
is posting it to Webtoon.
No, not anymore. Mason has, her own, Comic Fury hosted website. So, Mason, you're free to post that, I would recommend posting the link in Couch, or I think you should be able to post it in chat here. Excuse me.
New link click theories, Pastry Puff. I don't know about new ones. I think
God.
we're just kind of building off what we already have.
I did my thing. We had the time. You watched it, brought it back out, and then I've stopped thinking about it. I've stopped thinking about it because if I keep thinking about it, we'll never stop thinking about it. And I've kind of reached a point where I'm like, I've done my theories. I've thought about it all. I haven't like watched any like content to like get new theories from, you know. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like the theory train has stagnated. The information has, you know, existed. I don't rewatch it, right? Like I can't go through that
I have
again.
to rewatch it. I have to make sure they get the views.
Well, yeah, Mars has to do it specifically, but
because we watched it on Ori's account. Who knows? Maybe I'll come up with some theories on that rewatch.
Oof, that's rough as drunk. My father has a friend like that in like the boomer way, which is really funny to say.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. And so they're, like, on Facebook, and my father can't not reply on Facebook. Like, he can't not have himself do it, but, like, the friend is, like, really classic textbook, like, I researched the answer I wanted kind of person, and it's really rough. Awesome, Mason. There you go, guys. If you want to read Mason's comic, you can go to link in Couch. Yeah, it's rough. The theory train is late. Yeah. Also what happens to me is I
think Ori hits theory exhaustion.
There is part of that.
For a while.
There is part of that where it's like, I'm done now. Like, I need no more. We're good. Okay, I think this is his pants still, Mars.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, where would the leg have gone? Off into nowhere?
That is true.
He's got a hole?
Fucking no.
where his body should be? Yeah, I do think there's a point where it's like, ooh.
Got a hole where his heart is.
There's theory, yeah, damn, to discovering, you know, like discovering all the stuff we did about Link Click, and of course, like, when somebody else has their own theories, it's like, ooh, now I can think about those different things that I didn't think about. But then there is a point where the theory train stops and it's just like, all right, I did it. You know, I did all the brain happened. This is great. Look at him. Mwah. Also good. Just need your freckles.
Pastry Puff with those 4 other characters. So I feel like the story can have 2 meanings, and that applies to the characters we're currently following. I'm talking about very vaguely.
Yeah,
but,
I'll still
I feel like the story can apply to our current cast, like the ones we're following. But then it can also apply to the people in the past who were part of that inciting incident, you know? Because I certainly had many theories about that. I was like, who could be who represents who? What would Lu Guang's answer be?
This is an unrelated, like, to theory thing, but it's something I absolutely despise. And it's the fact that, to my understanding, the Britain arc is and this is not coming for you, Pastry Puff, because I really want to call it Season 3. The Britain arc is technically not Season 3, and everybody on the internet will talk about it in both ways. And so it's really, really difficult to get any information on not Britain arc related shit right now, because some people call it Season 3, and then they're like, it's Season 3 for ease. And it's like, can it just be Season 3? I don't fucking care if it's supposed to be like a prequel or whatever. 3. Why can't it just be Season 3? Why can't we just make it? Yeah, no, I don't. But it hurts me, Pastry Puff. It hurts me.
can't we? Have
Why
nice
can't we
things,
just
please?
call the shit that comes out in order season 3? Like, can't we just call it? It's a season. It came out. It had episodes. It's a fucking season. Okay? Why can't we
Watched
do
it from
that?
start to finish. I know. I have the tears.
It's the
to prove
same
it.
characters. Like, as the main characters. It's not like we've done, like, a prequel so far that it's not the main characters anymore. Like, that's a different story, right? If we did, like Jujutsu Kaisen 0, understandable. We
Different.
have
I get
completely
that.
different main
And
cast.
They called it 0. That helps, because then you go 0. You go season 0, season 1, season
But
2.
also, the issue with Link Click is the fact that it has fucking wibbly wobbly timey wimey shenanigans. So even though it technically takes place before season 1 and 2, does it? Does it? Question mark! Exclamation point! Who the fuck really confirmed those?
knows?
Like, yes, but no, but kinda, but not really. At least with
But also
Jujutsu
no.
Kaisen 0, it actually 100% does take place before season 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
Thank
does,
God.
without question, take place before season 1. But in Link Click, it's one of those, like, huh? Does it?
Like,
How do I refer to this?
no one knows. Look at those bedroom eyes that Synod is giving.
He's supposed to be more annoyed. Look at them eyebrows. The
Oh,
rings
you're
are
telling
not
me
at a
that's
certain
not a
length.
response to
Yeah,
You want me to do what to you?
it does turn the brain
You
to
said you
rot
want
at
me
a
to
certain
do
length.
what?
It does.
I could see that.
Yeah, the animal stories, more characters. Oh, I see.
The unintentionally smexy. I know, Penguin. Ori's just too good at it.
Okay. Interesting. I can see him for the bird.
Oh.
I definitely see him for the fox. 100%.
Oh, yeah. He
Doing
fits
the
box.
labor, doing the action, I can see it. Oh, her's the rabbit.
Oh, the rabbits.
It's an interesting group of characters,
Okay,
but they
I can
do
see that
seem
'cause
to
she's the
know each other.
survivor, So she
Yeah,
ran away.
and they do
That
seem to all
checks
know
out.
each other. So those are very interesting. Not the unnecessarily unintentional spexy. It's always
bad.
happens, Penguin. That's the story of my life.
It really does. It's
Literally?
a curse and a gift.
This all started with one redraw. There was one redraw I did where I kind of looked back and I was like, damn, I made him hot. And it's not an Outcast character. And it's old art at this point. And I did make him hot. And then since then, every character has been unintentionally
You
hot.
did hear smexy, you did hear rabbits, but not in the same sentence.
Yeah, not in the same sentence. But hello, Allie. How are you? Spoiler is off. Good.
Welcome.
Because it is off. I just made sure I had turned it off. I don't want any confusion.
Go watch Link Click. It's the most amazing series of all time.
Yes, you will cry. You will laugh. You will fill your
You'll
heart with
cry,
joy.
You will sob on the floor. You will have a time.
A
As
bajillion
we
theories. Ah.
So many times.
Close Mars. That's not what I wanted to
part
do.
of his code.
Yeah, down here.
How the fuck did that happen?
What is... Okay, there's also something weird happening here, but that might have been me.
No, one of that is
Okay.
supposed to be part of the code.
This is all coat, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that I'm
because that's
looking
not
at
his
it.
leg.
Oh, that part- Ooh,
Yeah, I don't think
okay.
that's his leg. That's the front of the coat. Okay, so that's actually white. I know what this is. So that's actually the frill. Yeah, that's how it goes. Because you can see it mimicked on the other side.
Okay, so that was the frill.
Yeah, not the leg. You had it leg colored, which it was not.
I see.
Okay, yeah, so like that. That looks
You'll
right.
watch it when you're mentally stable. Allie, I promise you, Ori and I are not mentally stable, and we still watched it.
You just lie on the floor, and it's all good.
Yep. And then you watch a Bluey episode to heal, but fuck up and realize it messed you up even more.
Because it was not the right Bluey episode for the situation.
I will never fucking forget that.
Okay. Part of this is you, part of this is me. This is the frill too.
They're supposed to be from frills down there.
Yep, and then I forgot lines over here, it looks like.
Going over it a second time, like, I can see it now. Why can't I see it when I'm in the moment doing it?
What is happening here?
This is why you gotta revisit your artwork, guys.
I understand what I was trying to do. Now let me fix it. Oh, okay, I know what lines I forgot. Like that.
But, Pastry, I gotta say, if you're looking for some pretty decent theory fodder, it's setting up a good mystery, and you like the style of Arcane.
Arcane, and I had another one. Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. That was the big comparison. I honestly thought some of the 2D animation parts looked like The World Ends With You.
Oh, they were very comic booky though. They had the like dot stippling.
They had the dot stippling, they had the shading, they had like that flat, but you could like feel the movement. It was so good.
We didn't actually sob on the floor, Pastry Puff. We had just I just stood up and laid down.
Oh yeah, just
the crying happened before that. Because the crying, yeah, I literally had to pause. I'm like, Mars, get up, you're missing. Like, Mars, you're missing important shit.
Gut punched me out of nowhere.
Enjoy your shower, Mason. Yes, to be Hero X, Allie. Yeah.
To be Hero X.
Really interesting so far. Very excited to see where it goes. The visuals
is not where I thought it was gonna go.
The visuals have been beautiful.
By that final stinger.
I will say at the beginning of the episode, I was a little cautious about the 3D animation because it was like a little odd at the first, but they like got into the groove with it. Later on.
To Tri-Stamp in that regard, because we had the same issue with Tri-Stamp at first.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now we're getting into this like kind of fluid CG blend.
Exactly, Pastry. We were all cried out first. But yeah, it definitely it gives that. So it's the stylized painterly 3D kind of animation. And it does well overall. Like, you know, think Spider-Verse, think Arcane, where it is very a differentiation from the Disney, Pixar, you know, DreamWorks 3D animation look.
Yeah. It's even got like a kind of dirty look to it almost.
Yeah, like, it's very brushstroke.
Don't get me wrong, but there's a kind of grunge aspect to it, I feel.
But what's also interesting to me, and I think this is what kind of like threw me a little bit at the beginning, is that they do go out and push like the character stylization more than you would see in your classic anime. Like the boss is very not like classic anime boss, you know, like his look had a lot of shapes and stuff that I don't think you normally see.
It's one of those things where it does,
because it's technically it's a donghua. It's not an anime. It's a donghua.
And then brought to the models,
and you can
which
see
I
that.
Really like. It allows them to carry that shape language over.
Yeah, it is really nice. What I actually think is really cool too is, and this is more just a thing of like we're getting more Chinese animation, is that you can see the donghua style over the like anime style, right? And so it's very interesting to like, immediately I'm like, this is a donghua, not an anime, right? Like you can immediately be like, like I could see it. You could do the same thing with Link Click. There was one other one someone was talking about. You could see it immediately. That's a donghua. It's actually, the dub is coming out simultaneously, Pastry Puff, like the same day. So episode 1 just came out and the episode 1 dub is already out. So, hopefully that'll continue, because, I mean, they did that with Dandadan. So, oh, no, it's great. I enjoy it a lot. And the visuals are really nice. Like, I'm talking even aside the, like, 3D and 2D style mixing, which I really like that they mix it. I like, you know, they've mixed it in not the same way, but they did in Vox Machina. They mix, you know, they have certain parts that are 3D animated and certain parts that are 2D animated. You know, here they're mixing in a different way. They do similar vibe stuff in Spider-Verse. You know, it's really nice. They do it in Arcane. Like, I feel like that's what really, 3D animation was always going towards. Because I feel like to remove 2D animation completely can never happen because it just has such a different feel to it no matter what. You're not going to get the same
do those initial
feel to it.
In 2D
yeah.
as well.
I love seeing... It was so cool seeing the Mandalorian concept art at the end of every episode. That was epic. I love that shit.
I love that.
So
I also
good.
love when any show shows off its concept art. Because, like, yes, let me see where this came from. Let me see where it started.
Heard of Pluto. Mars, have you heard of Pluto, the anime? For the Anime Awards, apparently. Not heard of Pluto.
Nope, I've not heard of that one. That slipped under my radar.
Yeah, pace your pup, because we knew it'd be perfect for you. Because it's everything.
Exactly. It's got all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, based off Astro Boy.
Yeah,
well,
I do like myself Astro Boy.
Version of Astro Boy.
Yeah.
Anyone remember that movie?
Yes, I own that movie from when Blockbuster went out of business. We got it for $2.
Damn.
And I thought that was the coolest shit. I have the Blockbuster copy of Astro Boy. It's the stickers and everything. That's like that's a wild formative memory. I wouldn't say I did a lot of going to Blockbuster, but I know I went a couple times with my father, and then specifically I remember going when they had their closing sale where they were selling the DVDs and stuff, and that's how I got Astro Boy. Like that I remember vividly. Wild. Yeah, it's definitely tough, Allie. It's definitely tough. That's why Mars and I did eventually... I mean, technically Mars and I got a Crunchyroll in the end because we wanted to watch the Link Click shorts. And there was not a good way to watch that without Crunchyroll.
No, there wasn't. It was so sad.
Nice, Pastry Puff. See, you get a bit of both. A little bit of both.
A little balance.
Okay. Here. We'll say... Hosen's faces are really good. I definitely my art had improved since the last one to this one. You can see it. In consistency. Those stripes are good.
You're saying you watched episodes 7 and 8 of Mob Psycho season 3?
Yeah. That's what they're saying.
Good luck going forward, because the ending is a doozy.
It's good though.
The end game.
It's good though.
It's very good, but you're gonna scream at us some more. I guarantee it.
Yes, you did the foot
the
thing.
Same mistake with in its tail and feet.
This tail's fine. This one's also fine.
Estruck, that kind of makes sense because after a hard hitter like Grave of the Fireflies, you need a Totoro to pick you up. Jesus Christ. You gotta make sure that your theater doesn't leave depressed.
Yep. Me forgetting lines again.
That is the one Ghibli movie I will not watch is Grave of the Fireflies. I know it's gonna hurt. I know I'm gonna cry, and I'm just like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it too much. You'll be fine, Pastry and Allie. You can't just abandon Reagan and Mob. You gotta see it through.
It's a good ending. Everybody is happy at the end that deserves to be happy, okay?
It is a good ending.
It's a good ending.
It is a good ending.
It will get you, but it's a good ending. Season 2 also has a happy ending. We're good. Everything works out in the end, okay? I will not watch shit like that. I will tell you, there is...
Ori would not love this anime
if
it ended poorly.
I know of 2 shows that I've watched any part of, and only one of those that I finished because I didn't fucking know, and it really, really, really didn't give the death flags the other one was giving, but that had
Yeah, surprisingly, Devilman
bad
Crybaby wasn't
endings.
giving me death flags.
No, that was the problem! It hit you from
Again,
behind!
like, it went off the wall, and like
Spoilers for
not in a bad way.
Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Devilman Crybaby was
That is the
like
only...
nothing I'd never seen before.
That is the only anime, that is the only show I have watched and finished that had a quote-unquote bad ending. Not that the writing was bad, that the ending was the bad ending instead of the true ending or the good ending.
Congratulations, you got the bad ending.
Yeah, it was that kind of bad ending. And, my brain died. Yeah, so that had a bad ending.
It was pain.
It hurt.
Everything leading up to it.
Everything.
Had me like, okay,
Yeah,
this is getting dark. Like,
but
then,
it's
then
still,
they
he
did,
was
like,
still full of hope the whole time. The whole time.
But then they killed the love interest too.
But then he
And
still
stuck
was
her
full
head
of hope,
off.
and I
I
just
was like,
felt
Jesus
like
Christ.
Kamina vibes. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like it was gonna be like a Simon thing. He was still going.
See, it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, everyone the main character cared about, like his entire family is dead. If he survives this, like, how is it gonna pan out? How is he gonna bounce back? How is he gonna go on? And then, spoiler, he doesn't. So that solves that problem, I guess.
Yeah.
He gets to be reunited with his loved ones in death.
Yeah.
And Rio gets to cradle his corpse because it turns out he's Satan being punished over and over and over.
Yep. Spoilers now for Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Ori knows about this one.
I didn't finish that one because they had really hard death flags at like episode 6. And I looked up the ending after I was like, I quit. I'm done. I'm not doing this. And I looked up the ending. And yeah, it was a bad ending. Main character does die. And as I suspected, as the death flags were showing, and the girl does her dream without him. And it's just like, no, this does not feel hopeful at all. I mean, it's Cyberpunk Edge Runners. But, you know, I need a little bit of hope at the end, because the world is shitty anyway, okay? The end. No more spoilers. Never seen the series, but is Devil May...
Allie was asking, it's called Devilman Cry
Yes,
Baby.
so it has nothing to do with... It has nothing... They're not related.
To do with the, what is it, Capcom? That has nothing
it's
to do
a
with
game,
Capcom
yeah.
game.
So Devilman Crybaby, though, is a remake. The one we're talking about, 2018?
2000. It might have been 2018.
It was in college. Something like that.
Devilman
17, 18, 19, somewhere in there.
Crybaby.
Feel like
Came
18.
out winter 2018.
Okay, I was right. So Devilman Crybaby.
And it had really good animation.
Yeah, it has really fun animation. Don't watch it with your parents around if they're not ready for anime stuff. But it has a bad ending.
Anime stuff, although yes, sex is a huge part.
It's a big part of it.
Of the whole
There's
thing.
a lot of naked people. Or naked monsters.
There's a lot of naked people. There's a lot of people pursuing their desires and instincts because you know, demons.
It's a lot. But yeah, it has a very compelling story. The animation is beautiful, and it's a very there's a lot of commentary. However, the ending is not a hopeful or happy ending, and that's the last we'll talk about it without spoilers on.
And that's the point. That's the point of the ending. It's not meant to be hopeful. I understand what they're doing, but holy shit, my heart.
Yeah, and that is the only show I have watched to the end that had a bad ending because I can't do that. It makes me just sad. If a show has like a negative ending, I think that's the better option for me to say. A negative ending, I just like my day is ruined. Like I just can't take it. I need the escape.
Welcome back, Mason. Hope your shower was
No. 100%, Penguin. 100%.
Definitely.
And
Penguin.
if you like
But
that sort of thing,
we get enough sad shit in
no, bittersweet does not count as bad.
real life.
Bittersweet.
I watch anime to escape. You know why I like 2B Hero X? Because they're punching crappy dictators in the face.
Yeah, bittersweet.
That's why I'm watching it.
Bittersweet does not count as bad because there's the sweet
not at
to
all.
it. There's a hopefulness to it.
I would say Link Click is bittersweet.
Well, it hasn't ended yet, so we'll see. But definitely season 2, bittersweet ending.
But each season
Britain arc
is bittersweet.
was season 1? Yeah, I guess season 1 was bittersweet too.
Season
We
1
went
was.
right into it. I watched them right back to back. Okay, it's one season to me. No.
Ori,
Season 1 does not have a bittersweet ending.
Okay, no, that's just horrifying.
That's just horrifying, but it's not the end. So, yeah. But season 2 is definitely bittersweet. Britain is definitely bittersweet. Yeah, no, I feel that, Penguin. I feel that. Dylan likes the negative endings. He likes the grittiness of it. He's a Warhammer 40k fan.
I have heard that he cheered during
And,
what was it? Infinity War.
yeah, Infinity War. He stood up. He stood up, clapping. That's how it ends. That's how it. He literally did that. I was not there, thank the Lord, but he literally did that. No, it's not an ending picture. That's why I'm saying I don't know how Link Click ends yet. I need to know. You love Britain, yeah. I'm gonna say you like bad endings 'cause they're good, a bit hard to do them right. Well, it's like I'll never watch Banana Fish because I know that it's a negative ending.
It's in my to watch list.
I can't do it.
My heart can take
I
it.
refuse. I won't do it.
I already
will
know
not
they're
do
gonna
it.
break my ship.
Yeah,
Why would I watch that?
I
if
won't
know
do
it's
it.
Sinking?
Because, like, okay, Arcane
That's like
spoilers.
If you took Reki and Lenga from me.
Arcane
no.
spoilers. We joke about it being a doomed yaoi, because it kind of is. But they're still happy in the end, and everybody else is happy because of it. So, like, overall good, you know? Overall positive. But, like, it's still doomed. Versus, like, Banana Fish is, like, classic doomed yaoi in the sad way. And I can't, I will not. Death Note had an
sad.
ending. This is true. There, I don't have to watch it. Thank you, Penguin. I appreciate it. We will go down with this ship. Yeah. But, like, again, they were content, and everybody else got to live happily because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a true sacrifice that, because Dylan gets really upset with the false sacrifices. I'm not against it because I fucking usually like the character. I don't want him to die. But in scenarios where there is a true sacrifice, someone actually did sacrifice themselves, they did not come back, they didn't get, like, a loophole or whatever in any way. But everybody else,
$500.
but the world, you know, is, like, saved because of it, and everybody else gets to live a happy life because of it, or, like, whatever they did does lead to the happiness of, you know, their loved ones, or, you know, the betterment of society, or whatever. Like, there's a positive outcome from it, I'm okay with. But if the main character or the person dying is to be like, it was fucking futile all along, no matter what they did, they would just die and nothing would change, they were a drop in the bucket, that shit hurts. Fuck that. I don't want that. I don't need to think about that. I don't need to be concerned.
I'm curious. Can you give an example of what you consider to be YA tragedy stuff?
Like,
I'm not sure how to approach the question. I'm trying to think what we
what's the
count.
John Green one? I guess like Bridge to Terabithia, does that have a bad ending? I don't really remember how it ends.
It just has a sad moment.
Yeah. No, what's the John Green one with the girl who has cancer?
Oh, The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah,
thank
you.
Said.
Yeah, see, that's what we're doing.
Is it in the bittersweet category?
I never read it. I never watched the movie. I solely know about it.
I did watch the movie. The message at the end is meant to be hopeful.
Yeah. My understanding is that it's positive. Exactly. That's the thing.
Guy came along and showed her like the ways of like to make that happen.
Yeah.
He gave her hope again. He gave her like the will to want to live and
exactly
not, like give in.
Yeah.
So I would call that bittersweet.
I would call it bittersweet.
A hopeful message
because
it's
audience. Sad.
Whereas with Devilman Crybaby, the message is this guy is forever being tormented. He will, ironically enough, continue to lose his best friend over and over in incarnations of the universe because he's Satan and he needs to be punished. That was the message of
and then everyone else in the world solely exists and gets to exist in pain and suffering to make him suffer.
Yeah, like no one's story is important because it's all about
nobody else matters.
His suffering.
They live solely to suffer and to have him suffer.
Interesting statement, and it's an interesting story. But is it a hopeful message? Absolutely fucking not. Not even close. Okay.
No! You merged the lines! Mars! No! You merged the lines.
I nearly spit my tea all over my microphone.
I'm sorry, the spoilers are gone.
A joke.
Oh no. How do I want to fix this? I know how I'm gonna fix this.
Do you want me to go into the thing and send you the
You won't be able to fix it.
I merged it.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna fix it in a weird way. I'm gonna fix it in a weird way. Yeah. She crossed the streets.
Maybe the drawing is perfect and it doesn't need fixing.
Sadly, it does need fixing, and sadly, on top of that, I need to render it, Mars! Okay, I think I can fix this in a not absolutely horrible way.
This is why Mars should not do things at the last minute. Although, I gotta be honest, I think this panel was actually earlier in the process.
This is not faring well for you. Which one is this? I've already lost which one this is. This one is the walking one. Okay.
Oopsies.
So if I take this, and I go... Are you gonna do it? Okay, yeah. And then we're gonna do a weirdness.
Guys, watch this hack. It could save your life.
So, well, it only saves your life because we have, like, 8 iterations of each fucking thing because we transfer them back and forth. In any other scenario, you would likely not have, just the lines laying around.
I'll tell you why, S-Struck, we cannot control Z, because I worked on this on my end, and I work on the panels in sequences, right? So I do panel 1, merge everything together. Panel 2, merge everything together. This is hanging out in the middle of the page.
Basically...
So for me to control Z, I'd have to undo everything. Not only that, but I sent Ori a saved file. There is no way to undo this.
Yeah, so basically, as direct, I didn't do this. Mars did this on a day a while ago, where she then saved the file and exited out of the thing after doing this. That removes all possibilities of any further undos, and thus now we are here with no further undos.
Is this how you feel?
Yeah, this is how Lou feels.
Undos, no takebacks.
No takebacks. There's no Control Z here.
I am just glad that it happened on a smaller panel.
Yes.
with fewer
Yeah,
lights.
no, it's something I just discovered as drunk. But it is not
Yeah.
something that just happened. If I did it, if I was like merging the
That's
layers,
When I merge my layers, I usually stop right before the last one.
but this one
'Cause
had
that's-
2. That's what
Yeah.
screwed you. You didn't check.
That's probably why.
It had
I did
2
not
line
check.
layers, and that's what happened. It's okay.
His theme is playing right now. Whose theme?
I don't think it's time for Godot.
I don't recognize the theme. I'm sorry. Unless it's Hiroyuki Sawano, I'm not gonna remember the track name.
No, it's all Ace Attorney stuff. Is it Godot?
The joke. I don't think it's Godot.
Oh, it's The
Oh,
Killer.
The Killers.
I don't recognize it at all.
Yeah, I don't recognize that. Sorry.
I was
so
always too
Stan
focused
reminds
on
me
Dylan's voice for him with the voice modulation in the cup. I definitely never
That was
listened to his
hilarious.
background. Okay.
Or you need to get a metal bowl for Delicia.
Yeah, I do. I don't have a metal bowl. I have a melamine bowl, which might work, honestly.
That would get the job done. I think you'll still get the echo you're
I
looking
could
for.
get a pot as well.
No, you're not annoying, Mason. I mean,
Yeah,
Mason,
no.
we have a whole stream dedicated to yapping about our comics, so...
Yeah, Mason, please. Okay, we're gonna deal with that when the lines come back.
Well, Ori, if you ever need a metal bowl, just let me know and I will bring it the next time I see you. Because I avoid
the only thing is I don't have a need outside for Delicia. I like my melamine bowls for what I use them for.
That we might have more characters.
Well, that is true.
That's
I'll
speaking
just
to
use a
pots
pot.
and bowls
I'll just use a
and
pot.
helmets.
No, she does not. But Allie's okay with like character reveals, to my understanding. If not, Allie, I'm sorry.
I mean, all you know now, Allie, is that there's a character and she speaks into a bowl very
Yep.
often.
And her name is
Use
Delicia.
that information what you will.
Yeah.
Do with that info what you will.
I had to stop watching the Paula
okay.
Piroff stream because
We went in totally different directions.
oh, I was just gonna say because she started talking about yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody who watches my content has played all the Ace Attorney games, and it's like, so I'm just gonna talk about it however I want, not worry about spoilers. And it's like, not me, goodbye. Dang it. I don't wanna be spoiled.
Ah, rats. So sad.
Yeah, riveting, right, Allie? Beautiful.
It's incredible, Allie. True characterization. It's peak.
Mm-hmm. Peak.
I gotta say though, Ori, you get all the slurping characters. Like they're always slurping something.
I have, and everybody hates me for it. Dylan gets to go when he fucking does fucking Marshall, but I can't to my content?
You're not allowed.
What is this discrimination?
So sad.
It is so sad. I can't believe it.
Justice for Ori.
Justice
Equity.
for Ori.
We demand.
You do, Allie, you do. It's a fun time. Okay. For own personal ease, Mars, I unfortunately did not get to keep all of your lines, but all of your stuff.
That's okay.
But I did get to keep most of it. And it did come out decent. Whoops.
Slurping is a viler sound? Is that why we're discriminatory towards it? Oh. These double standards, guys.
Okay, my whinnying was also silenced. I don't know what the word I want to be. Sounds like I'm licking the mic, but I'm not. I was all internally generated noises. I'm glad, Penguin. I'm glad.
Those were choices of
We're
words
certainly choices
that you chose.
Ori and Mars voice that character though. Give any
Depends on who the character
yeah,
is.
give any defining feature, Inaka's defining feature, Esdrock. So I can know. So I could be big brain.
Yes, help us out.
Yes.
Ugh.
Well, he's not a horse. He's just a horse themed,
He's horse
vaguely.
Coded.
Yeah, horse coded.
He's very horse coded.
In 1-1. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Ah, there you go, Mason. Oh, it was not Frog Detective. Though I was Frog Detective, and I was a Frog Detective. Frog Detective was great. It's okay, Allie. That's good. That means you won't remember it when you have your playthrough and you're not spoilered.
That's perfect. That's where you want to be. You want to be confused.
A lot of time posts have specific tags. Yeah. Wait. AAI 1-1. There was an character. I'm trying to remember what the fucking first case was. Oh. Yes. One of them had
I'm trying to remember
noises?
what the context of was said.
I remember the character I played in that. I was like, yeah, I did a lot of that. I don't remember anyone going, AAI is Ace Attorney Investigations.
Ace Attorney Investigations.
And AAI 2 is Investigations Prosecutor's Gambit. Do I have a lot of Okay, well that was me. That was me then. I asked Dylan for specific coaching on that character because I wanted to make I'm just so enamored by Dylan's characters, especially characters that are villains. And I want, because he's, remiss to playing less roles in the Dylan show, I wanted to try and step up my game a little bit. So I asked him for coaching there. He did not explicitly say to do if anyone's wondering. That was not the coaching I was given. Do you have this in it, or am I blabbing? Am I florbling? No, you do. I'm not an idiot. You do.
Oh, it's okay, Allie. We know you're there in spirit. As
yes,
long as
it's
we
okay.
Get to hear about your adventures experiencing the game.
Exactly. Well, Allie, what you could do is you could play the Great Ace Attorney right away. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, we play other games sometimes. You can watch the Tangled Tower videos as well. Guys, first Tangled Tower episode edited came out.
Yes.
Here.
I got to watch it today, and it was good.
Good. Ace Attorney Miles Edger's investigations? I see. Yeah, the eye does look like a number. It is the problem. You stop need? I think it means you still need autocorrect. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you play that. You'll speedrun. Alright, don't hinder your own enjoyment. But I will say we are rather slow, Allie. So if you do...
We are very slow.
You could also, because Apollo Justice... the game Apollo Justice technically came out before the first Miles Edgeworth Investigations. If you wanted to play it in release date order, you could, and so we're playing chronologically in universe besides The Great Ace Attorney, because that's like a prequel thing. Like, it's so far removed. But like, Investigations happen specifically between Trials and Tribulations and Apollo Justice. Like, it specifically happens in between those times. And so I wanted to play them in chronological order. But if you want to play them in release order, you could finish Trials and Tribulations, go right to Apollo Justice, and then you could watch our streams. I don't think we spoil usually, but if chat gets on a thing, sometimes we may talk about stuff that we have played. So you would be running the, you would be towing the line there. Yes. So Allie, the way we're going is investigate. So it goes AA3, and then chronologically in universe, it goes Investigations 1 and then Investigations 2. That's how we're playing it. And then we have to play all of the Apollo Justice trilogy. Yeah. I wanted to do it in chronological order. Technically, to my understanding, Did I don't actually know. Did Prosecutor's Path come out before Dual Destinies? That's the only one I'm not sure about. I know Investigations came out. I know it went Apollo. Yes. Okay. So
okay.
In-game chronologically, and how we are playing it on stream, because I wanted to play it in-game chronological order. It was Trials and Tribulations, Investigations 1, and Investigations 2. We're about halfway through Investigations 2 right now. And then we have to move on to Apollo Justice, then Dual Destinies, then Spirit of Justice. And then we're going to play The Great Ace Attorney. 1 and 2, and I will never remember their individual names, I'm sorry. It is a lot of games. I will say, Allie, you will play them faster than us no matter what. It is a lot of games. It really just depends on how much, like, free time you have to use. I know a couple people in our chat have played it, like, in between. like before us. I think Pastry Puff did. I feel like that happened. But, like, yeah, we take a while to get through them. So, mostly because we stream and that sort of stuff. We had this, you know, in between here where Dylan was doing, like, the other games. Not the other games. His schedule was dumb, so we were playing other games. You know, things like that happened. But so it does take us a while. I think you played a game that came out before we got there or something. Someone did that, I could swear. Maybe I'm blanking.
I have a vague memory of that.
I feel like there was someone in chat who was like, I'm not gonna watch stream yet because I haven't played... Ah, Canadian Lucifer, that's who it was.
Canadian,
There you go, hello. Bombed your family, oh no.
No.
But yeah, so it can be done because yeah, it takes... The first game took us a month and a half. A year and a half.
There is no way it took a month.
No. A year and a half. So that gives to that six. That gives to that 6 months per thing. I will say I'm pretty sure Prosecutor's Gambit is taking us longer, solely because we had the 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off issue that we've had to deal with for like 8 months now. It's not that long. Is it that long? It might be that
possibly.
long. I don't know. 6 months, maybe?
Just about.
I guess that, yeah. I think it was... I don't know anymore. I'm braining. All I'm saying, we're fucking slow. If I was to play the game on my own, I would have been done a long time ago. You know, if I was to, like, play the game 3 hours once a week.
We start chatting, we start theorizing. It slows down stuff, you know?
That it does. That it does. Okay. I've lost what I'm doing. Look at Aster, making it easy with being all black on his back feathers. Looks all set. Ferrex looks good. Ferrex looks good.
Nice, nice.
Wing
is one of the easy
stuff.
Ones. Yeah, wings.
I'll probably...
Goddamn wings.
Looks like I also did a stupid with the lines here as well, so let me fix that.
Okay, so I can't fully be blamed for that.
This
one.
area here is my fault. I will give you that, yes. This area here should have been colored, and you should have done. That one, this area, like, I know it didn't, but, you know. I know, Pastry, I know that Star, of writer, you know, creator of the comic Cast Off, did do a whole thing playing the Somnium Files. That one was definitely something that was, like, kind of on my radar.
One.
Yeah, the only thing I wasn't sure
Isn't,
about was exactly the place out.
Isn't there a new one coming out?
Disco Elysium was a similar thing.
Right, that was the other one.
That was the other one, and where I just don't think it, like, fits our play style. You know, like there's too much brain activity, right? Like, we have to have a level of stupid. If we really, really want to go there, there's a level of us being dumbasses that we have to account for. And most of that is just the fact that we're not paying full attention because we're streaming and we're more focused on voices and goofing, which I like. I prefer that. I don't think you did, Estrock. I don't remember that one as a thing.
You didn't. I'm curious. What's it about?
Mystery storage adventure. Oh, point and click is in there. It's very far down, though. I don't know. I'll have to get your opinion, Pastry Puff, when you're done. By time you finish it, we'll still be playing Ace Attorney, so... I would definitely be curious as to how... You think it's too visual novel-y? Okay. No trouble with Professor Layton and... Zero Escape? That's what Z is, I think. You're saying brain-wise? I think... Okay, if Professor Layton is not more difficult puzzle-wise than Tangle Tower and the Escape Room, like, I'm pretty decent at the sort of thing. It's more like, I guess if the, okay, I have to back up. I'm okay with puzzles if the puzzle is the thing that I'm doing on screen now. And this is not, like, if I was to do this on my own, this is a different story. I'm talking about for stream specifically in a way that we keep it moving. But I don't know if anybody here remembers Paradise Killer. Paradise Killer is you need to solve the mystery. You go around collecting evidence, and nobody talks to you about the evidence. You have to read a lot of stuff about the evidence, which is honestly kind of dry, not gonna lie. And there is a lot of evidence, and you are not led around in any way to go anywhere. You just kind of have to fumble your way around to finding all these areas and doing all these things and collecting this evidence. And then at the end, you totally and utterly decide on your own with no other thing based on the evidence that you got who is guilty of what crimes or not. And you can be quote unquote wrong, you know, like you can get it wrong. And we are just not in a headspace for stream to be putting that much overarching plot brain effort into it to do something like that, right? Yeah, exactly. Very confusing. Yeah, exactly, Penguin. I need some linearity, right? Tangle Tower, I think, is a good, you know, it's not as on rails as I would say Ace Attorney is, right? Ace Attorney is, like, fairly led around. I feel like that's on the higher end in my brain. I would say Tangled Tower is less than that, but it does still have some rails, and there is, like, ways to go forward, especially now that we played the first one. There is, like, all right, we just gotta go around and show the evidence, and we just gotta go around. And now, am I a fan of that? To a certain extent, it can be kind of boring, you know, that you have to keep showing people stuff until you get the right thing, if you come to a stop. But I know that that is a thing I can do. Whoops. I know that that is a thing that I can do to move the story along, right? And that the mystery will be solved by the act of me playing the game. That's what's important, okay? I think that's very important. The act of me progressing the story
that by playing the game
is what solves the mystery. No, but you know, like that the story and the mystery are combined. So if I know how to progress the story, which is what we've learned with Ace Attorney, I can progress the mystery. But I do still like the ability to have to think a little bit, but in confined moments, if that makes sense. I don't have to think about the mystery in Ace Attorney that hard until we get to the trial. And then we're solving specific things with specific evidence we have. Right? I'm not
and that makes a difference.
And the descriptions of the evidence are very small. There's not a lot of words with them. That's very important to me. And then you solve it, right? In Tangled Tower, you're less doing... You have those couple of moments where you're putting the pieces together. You have that mechanic. And you also have the puzzles. But the puzzle is in on itself. I don't need to know any of the story. I don't need to have solved any of the story in order to do... Okay, this is what I can't do. In Tangled Tower, they have that thing...
Or piecing it together as she's speaking it out.
In Tangled Tower, they have, like, when people give their testimony, they show this little map of the person, like, walking around the tower, and it's really cute. I love the visual. It's great. If I don't retain any of that information, that will not stop me from progressing the story. Does that make sense? I don't need to sit here and analyze their movements in my own head in order to figure it out. That would be too much. That's too far. We can't do that. But solving a little puzzle to get to a clue to do other stuff is a okay thing that we can do. And I don't think we struggled that hard with Tangled Tower. I also say we didn't struggle that hard with the escape room. And I found those puzzles to be perfectly like
we struggled with the escape room at all.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a couple parts where we definitely had a little bit of moments, but like the puzzle aspect is fine. It's when I can't solve the mystery without literally being a detective. I need the mystery and the story to be together, right? Like how if you were to read a mystery novel book,
that's just good storytelling.
Well, I think that it's a different genre. A lot of people like Paradise Killer. A lot of people do. But I don't have the time to link click it well on stream. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit there and do the level of research and dedication and theorizing that we do about like the mystery and link click on stream while it's happening. That's not what I want to do. I know Dylan will get bored about that. I know, you know, we're here for a fun time that also involves side of thing. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to do a visual novel because at that point we're just doing like a fancy story reading, which is like its own thing, but that's not what I want. I do want some thought. A really good example. Mars sent me this like reel today. And it's like a game, and it's a mystery game.
I remember what I sent.
It's the sound one. It's the sound mystery game.
Yeah,
and basically, it's a really cool concept. Okay, it's a really cool concept, and the cool concept is you get to hear what happened in the rooms as the time goes on. Like basically, you have a recording unheard. Is that what it is? I don't know if you mentioned it. I don't remember you mentioning Esdrock, but Mars sent me a reel about it. But Basically for fun time, not a long time. Yeah.
What a vibe.
But and you know, you have to listen to it and solve the mystery by like following around the people and choosing different things and listening to it again and hearing all these different stuff. And that's a really cool concept. Do not get me wrong. I think that's an epic concept for a game. I do not think that is a streamable game. I do not think that is a game that I have the mental capacity to do on stream, right? That's a level where it's like, this is too much brain power needed for stream. Another just mild example is like when Markiplier played Five Nights at Freddy's 4, there's a large aspect where you have to listen for the breathing, right, at the door. So he can't talk and goof off at that point. He has to be silent so he himself can listen for the breathing. And it doesn't make as good content, right? Is it a cool game feature? Yes. Is it a cool way to play a game, especially in a horror game? 100%. But that literally explicitly doesn't make for his kind of content as much. You know, he has to like do a lot more face moments, and then you actually have to be like watching him. But they like cut out a lot of those moments unless he's like doing like goofy shit in between, because it's silence, and that's not that. So that's my long-winded way of trying to explain the games I have thought about to play on stream. A kinetic novel is all the way to the other end. Interesting. Of what I was describing. Versus a visual novel, I guess. But I think I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna recommend Sucklebun's puzzle games. They're way too open and crunchy. Yeah, I'm happy with the escape room level that we did. I would be willing. I don't think that's something we would ever play with Dylan. He is here for the ad-libbing and the characters. Okay, that is how we draw Dylan into this. So he would not be super here for an escape room simulator again. But I know Mars and I had a fun time, and I think some of you did too. So that is something we would do again.
I'd be up for it.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it, Estrog, just to make sure we are thinking of the same game and not some other game. Unheard Voices of Crime.
Ooh. Yeah,
that is the game. That is the game, Estrog. Yeah, that is the game. But so a game like that would just not be something. Literally, like in the real Mars Sent, it says something along the lines, "Can you solve a mystery with only audio clues?" And I went, "No, we cannot."
No.
Night one is normally not that bad. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Disappointing. They said up in lore. There you go. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Estrog. It's Unheard Voices of Crime. That is the whole thing. You are correct. And this is the game that was shown in the real Mars sent me earlier. Like, I'm seeing the UI, and it looks exactly like I remember it. Again, really cool concept. You know, when done right, I definitely am like, really epic game, but just not something we can hack. Like I said, Paradise Killer, for anybody who was there for that, knows the level that we're at. I think we could do Layton. I don't know how much brain stuff Zero Escape could do, but I do think we could do Layton from my vague understanding. Yeah, I do think Layton is possible. But like, you can see it in how we, like, you know, Penguin saying he misses his wife. Slide whistle, Goofy screaming. No, I can't. Penguin. I can't. So, yeah. I think that that's sort of where we lie in how much brain power, like, I sit down and give to stream at any given time.
Because it's also at night, guys. The brain
It's at
only
night,
has so
and
much
like
to
I
do.
said, the goal is first to be having a fun time, and then also to be entertaining, right? Like, we want to be entertaining for you guys too, but also we want to be entertaining to ourselves.
We like to think you guys watch us for a reason, and we like to think we're entertaining you.
But also I want to entertain ourselves, and so if the vast majority of a stream is,
we gotta keep Dylan entertained. That's
we
the
do.
big
I
one.
do gotta say, you see his attention span sometimes. Yeah, that's what I thought, Estruck. Yeah, you just don't get to know who it is, and you just have to. If there is a level of game where you would
This
do,
is a bad concept.
yeah, I guess my other thing.
Use it to stream.
See, I want to say if it's a game where you even consider taking notes, that would be a thing. But we did take notes a little bit for, like, the escape room and Tangle Tower. But it's not, like, whole notes. It's more like, I need this key over here now, and I just don't want to memorize it. You know, like, that's it. If it's a game where you would consider making a red string board in order to play it to its full potential, too far. Too much.
Yeah.
Like-
That was us
like-
with Paradise.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how any of that evidence was supposed to show what.
There was so much lore. There
okay.
really
And then
was.
when we convicted people at the end, I didn't know how we convicted them. I had no clue how we got from point A to point B.
No, it was too
And I
much.
don't think that's because I can't solve a mystery. I think it was just too dense.
I think it's just not the game. I like, again, it has great ratings. Obviously, we had, like, a big defender for it in the chat the last time we, like, on the last day we played it. I don't think that it was, like,
You were roasting us.
a bad game. I think it was not an us game.
Yeah. Definitely not an us game. And that's okay.
Yes, that is okay. I mean, y'all see how we sometimes struggle with Ace Attorney. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really want to try and go too much harder than that.
3 hours later.
Okay. This is a separate thing, Estrog. The plot is different from, or I guess the lore is different from the story, if that makes sense. I can play a Zelda game without trying to connect all the Link timelines, right? But if I wanted to, I could make a red string board about it, you know? That's the difference. Versus I feel like with this, you know, sort of vibe of, like, Unheard, The Voices of Crime, is more like I actually need to sit here and, like, put push pins in, like, a printout of the room, like, of the building layout about, like, who did what where, in order to actually beat the
So
game.
much more involved.
That's the difference. Same with Paradise Killer, right? It feels like, wow, I have to sit here and read a paragraph every 5 minutes in order to...
Two.
Like, that's too much reading. That's the other thing. Because reading, that's not, like, a fun character voice. You know what I'm saying? There's dialogue, which is fun. But when every piece of evidence has a paragraph involved, and then when you, like, get a piece of evidence, it unlocks, like, 8 different things. That was Paradise Killer. Yeah, theorizing, fine. Because we can choose to do that or not.
Yeah. And we theorize.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Like,
crackpot
we
theory is a
theorize all the time.
phrase we use very often. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for when I choose games, sort of ease of play, because I really don't want to get stuck, because I don't think that's interesting for both me and you guys. We have gotten stuck on a couple Ace Attorney things, and that was already frustrating enough. I feel like doing too many levels of that gets old real fast.
Too much.
Yeah. I would rather not have a game where I have to end up looking at the walkthrough because we can't figure it out to continue.
Yeah. Didn't we get lost? Didn't we have to look up how to get the hell out of whatever beach we were stuck in?
Yeah, we looked up a few things in Paradise Killer.
Along the shoreline for the longest time.
Yeah, we looked up one or two things. The big thing I remember looking up in Paradise Killer was how to get the other upgrade for our computer so we could get into that, like, pyramid place.
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's definitely helpful, Esdrak. I think we'll be okay with puzzles. Like I said, if you do end up watching the Tangle Tower videos or stream Esdrak, like, we're good with those kinds of puzzles. We get through those pretty fast.
Maybe one day they will.
Yeah, no, okay. That was the other thing, Esdrak. That was the other thing, Esdrak. The main reason we're also playing Nancy Drew first, like after again, years down the line, when we are done with Ace Attorney and Ghost Trick.
20 years.
When we move on to a new series, the biggest reason it will be Nancy Drew over Professor Layton is because at least 2 of the Layton games are 3DS only, which is really difficult to get ROMs of. And there's no shame in that, Canadian Lucifer.
Oh, not at all.
I know Dylan is a purist.
He doesn't even like it when we save.
He doesn't even like it when we save. But yeah, so yeah, the 3D they just really are hard to get ROMs of, and so I was very concerned. Nah, Mason, you won't.
Mason, I'm pretty sure we're older than you.
We are older than Mason. We are decently older than Mason.
Decently older than most people in this chat.
No, we learned that a few of them were not, so we have a mixed bag here. But
okay.
I was saying words.
You
Yeah,
weren't
I
just
was.
saying words.
I went down to like a kick. Have you ever wanted to guess your age? I have no idea. I gotta admit, really bad at it.
I'll go with 19. Final answer.
Oh, I feel like it had to be like 20 something. I don't know. I'll go the other way. 28. I got no clue. Esdrock's 169. Ooh! There we are.
Okay.
We're age twins, I guess. Twins. Yeah,
Looks
the math
like
checks
it.
out.
We're all in the same age bracket. We're suffering through our 20s.
Oh my god, pastry puff. Oh, look, penguin. Okay, this is nice. I'm glad we have some people. Yeah, I know Mason's younger. I know Enthuse is younger. We have like a fair amount of like college age people and like just out of college age people. Is there a ghost and tricks and fire, Allie, and fire? Look at the fire emojis. I'm dying of my brain. But yeah, it was, so I was like, I had like a kick in the middle. We must have been playing Trials and Tribulations, where I was like trying to get all the ROMs of the Ace Attorney games. And it was before the Apollo Justice trilogy remake was announced.
Possibly.
Hello, Willow. Possibly. I mean, Dylan's older than us, so who knows. But
grand return dichotomy. Hello.
Yes, hello dichotomy. Fire Ghost. Ooh, the Pyrogeist. We had that in a D&D game of ours. The Pyrogeist. It's your boy, Dichotomy! Look at him!
Still gotta level up my character.
Look at him! Wait, I have your boy again. There he is again! I gotta fix his thing there. There he is again! Yeah, we gave him way too many neck feathers, Mars. That's the Aster thing to learn.
He's very warm with that extra feather.
They do not go up to his hairline.
Duly noted. Honestly, I think that one was just because I was rushing.
That's fine. Such is life.
That was definitely... Ooh, Aster's back is fixing the camera. Base, color it all black.
Oh, saying words. What was I saying? Words. Oh, yeah, so it was before the Apollo Justice remake thing had been announced. Trilogy had been announced. And I was trying to get all the ROMs of everything. And I had gotten, of course, Investigations. I had gotten Prosecutor's Path at the time. The fan ROM. I was, like, very excited. I was like, cool, I got that. I had Apollo Justice. And I had Dual Destinies. But I could not get Spirit of Justice to work. I couldn't do it. I was like it wasn't, because it's a 3DS thing, and there's like a lot of shit, and like kind of weird, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it to work, and I've lost everything. Hold on, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Dichotomy, you don't have to fish for compliments. I just gotta see. What are we feeling is mean to say? Oh, he's the best. Happy anniversary! Oh my god. That feels like it has not been that long. Wow. So, Mason, I have the ROMs. They just won't play. And that's like seems in like the, That's... Oh no. But that seems in, like a big thing in like the emulator community, that like 3DS games are just like fucking notorious to be really, really tough to emulate. And, and so I was like, I was wigging out there for a little bit. I was like, oh god, oh no, this is gonna be real bad. I'm not gonna, how am I gonna play this game? I don't know how. And I'm like looking at like how I could stream from a 3DS, and it involves fucking like breaking open your 3DS. And I'm like, I don't want to do that to my baby. We ain't cracking open my 3DS. How am I gonna do this? I was like debating getting a different 3. There's a lot. There was a lot happening in my brain, obviously. And then I kind of was like, all right, this is a ways down the line. We're gonna cross this bridge much closer to when we get there. Maybe somebody will, like, make a ROM within that time that works. Something. I don't know. Literally, I had this, like, crisis. Happen. And then, months later, I had the crisis again because I was, like, trying again. And then, literally the next day, one of y'all posted in the Discord that the Apollo Justice Trilogy was coming out that November. I was like, oh my god! Our Jesus smiled upon me. He has blessed us specifically. Yes, us specifically. And I was like, oh my god.
Thank you, Capcom.
Because then, who would have fucking guessed? Investigations Duology came out too.
Yeah.
But I'm just scared, Mason. I'm just scared. My well, also I think hacking is different than what I have to do to make my DS capture cardable. That's like a different thing to my understanding. But I like my baby too much. I have all of my Nintendos, all of them, and I don't want to break them. Very scared. I won't touch them like that. I would have to get like a separate one. And so I was like, oh my
Which
god,
is very valid.
that's really cool. One of y'all. Oh. I couldn't even read it. They're gonna be one of y'all in the server. Yeah, but you put and so and then so we're playing Investigations 1 and we're like partway through and then freaking the duology comes out. We were Dichotomy, I don't know, you weren't here. Were you here for part of the we had a lot of language talk tonight. Whoo boy. You were making fun of me. Not me only, but mostly me. One of y'all in the server. Who knows? My brain has died again. Yeah, so honestly, I feel blessed by the Ace Attorney gods. So, I will say 100% if Layton starts coming out with collections, we ball. We ball real hard, real fast. But sadly, I don't think we're going to be able to play Layton until that happens. Because I have no idea how I would record. I was like, I will say I was so invested in Ace Attorney that I was like gonna set up like a hand cam. So you could watch my DS through a camera. I was willing to do that. I was probably gonna do that. No, it's so much more. Patient Mom, I am in full and utter belief that the universe was waiting for us to play as Attorney. This is like my little conspiracy theory, right? Capcom was waiting specifically for us to play, well, Estrock, it will be interesting. It will be interesting, because there's a lot of games, but like I said, there's technically less cases than there are Ace Attorney cases, and I think the runtime is roughly the same as an Ace Attorney case, so... Yeah, it was wild, Page Repo, so wild. Ooh, yeah, Willow. Because I have a 3DS, and I would totally, like, get shit for the 3DS. Like, I'd buy it off the Nintendo store. You know, I'd do whatever. But just, like, there's a lot more that would go into that than just being able... Even if it came out, like, on the Switch, I could also easily do that.
I take that.
The Switch is capture cardable innately. Just the 3DS isn't. I think we did the math the other stream, Estrock, and it was a bigger difference than that. There's a lot of Ace Attorney cases. Sure. There was a bigger discrepancy than that.
It was a lot of math.
It was a big honkin' discrepancy. Oh my lord. Ah, also, guys, I have been working on our new sprites. So that'll be cool. So those new sprites. It's at least 50. I think it's around 50 Ace Attorneys. That sounds about right. Ah, sorry, Allie. He's back. You can't escape. See, you gotta play the game to overcome him, Allie. You gotta beat TNT to get past Godot. I believe. Nah, I know the vibe of, like, wanting to do other things, though. Because I literally don't play video games outside of our stream time. Like, at all. Okay, Allie, you gotta admit, though, the song is a bop. So, cause, like...
It is a bop.
Still, if it took... So, I will say, Estrock, I will say that by time we start the Nancy Drew ones. And honestly, very, very soon, all of us will have such consistent schedules that we should probably blaze through them faster than we have before. I don't think we're going to be fast by any means, but like time-wise, in the sense of like we can consistently stream basically every Friday. Yeah, you're right. It is a bop. It's such a bop. God, I hope Allie wasn't a coffee fan in the first place, because this would be rough for her. That's good water. You never liked coffee. Ooh, Nucky D's. There you go. Let's go.
Who needs coffee?
But, my brain has died again.
Oh no.
Guess it's obvious. I mean, you know, it's the artist vibe. You're either a coffee artist or a tea artist, and I feel like those two have very different vibes of people. Tea all the way. I mean, look at our fucking stream. But
I feel like tea is the chill artist, coffee is the I am frantically working on 100 commissions, like stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Coffee is the overworked freelancer. Tea is the hobbyist. Okay. Ah! That's his hand, Mars. Over here. That's what this is, right? This one little bump right here that doesn't look like it's in line with the feathers. It's okay. I know he's a sea of black feathers.
He is. And honestly, when I see his back to the camera, I go, haha, easy panel.
Yeah. And then he has, like, a neck floof that he never had before.
Lots of neck floofs. He's got a scarf. He's got a whole scarf.
He could, like, do the, like, puff up at that rate.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah. Yes, the song is gone.
Rejoice, Allie.
It's gone for the rest of the stream.
Oof. Those geese have it out for you, Estrock.
The Canada geese, Estrock. They were already there, waiting for you.
They're vicious.
They knew the day would come. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I think it's a little dumb to be afraid of geese because you can kick them very easily. Geese are of a size where I'm not afraid.
Recommended?
If they're attacking me, then yes. I'm just saying. There's a difference between, like, a wolf or, like, even a coyote coming at you. The way they, like, move on the ground is tough. Estrock. I don't find Canada geese very scary. I have yelled at them. And I will yell at them. And they will hiss at me near the nest. And I go like, Swans are crazy. As like a concept. As like we have this like animal that we've just like, we've been conditioned. It's so beautiful. It's so lovely. They're so pretty. You know, the love, the swan, the thing. Those motherfuckers. Wow. Again,
they can be bastards sometimes.
The thing about swans is because you usually see them kind of far away. They're always like bigger than I think they are. You know, wolves have the similar effect. It's always like, wow, a wolf is actually like really big. You know, you just don't think about it. Yeah, swans do hate Swans hate specifically. Canada geese hate generally. The longer the neck, more evil. That's where the evil's stored, dichotomy. See, this is just Estrock. This is just birdist, I guess. No facts. I've walked by Canada geese nests. They come and they hiss at you. That's always a wild noise. When a when a goose like hisses at you, it's just like, huh, that's not a noise I expected to come out of a bird. You know, it's just like a wild,
right?
just like a wild
like,
moment of like, huh.
That's a snake sound.
Just like when the cheetahs chirp, it's just like an odd like. My brain associates this with something else. Well, if Enthuse is here, birds aren't real, guys. Birds aren't real.
That's true. Can't acknowledge the birds.
It's just a vessel. Yeah, there you go, Estruck. I do know of lyre birds. Lyre birds are epic, and they make chainsaw noises now because they heard us make chainsaw noises, by meaning using actual chainsaws, and they make pretty identical, you would not recognize chainsaw noises. And it's crazy. It's wild. Also how, like, cougars scream like people in the woods. Like women dying. That one's rough, too.
That was really rough, buddy.
Yes, that is why they're liars. They're lying about being chainsaws. They lie about a lot of stuff. No. The ones that wild for me... Mason, what are you sorry for? I don't think Mars is upset with you at all.
I don't think I ever said anything. I am multitasking a little
Cassowaries,
bit.
they're big.
Do some stuff.
When you start getting to
I'm
like
bouncing back and forth between chat.
the land birds.
But I do see you sent me something in Discord, Mason. I'm gonna check it out after stream. Just because it seemed lengthy, so I want to give it my attention.
When you get to land birds, they're like another level. Because they're like I'm talking the ones that don't fly and walk. Like, they're big. They get big. Same with, I'm not afraid of turkeys.
They get really big.
Turkeys are big. But again, puntable. Chainsaw bird instead of Chainsaw Man. That'd be a funny parody.
I would watch that spin-off. It would probably have way less sex than the actual show.
No, it would have the same amount of sex. It's just bird related, so you wouldn't. No. So you wouldn't recognize it the same way.
Care.
Right? Yeah. You don't recognize it the same way. So it's like they're just they're just like making the bird noises, but like you don't recognize it. It's like, oh, the sounds of spring, but it's birds. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yeah, exactly, Penguin. I saw peacocks around us, actually, here in the north, and they were roaming free. And the problem is, peacocks die in the winter in the northeast if you do not keep them in a warm place, because they're not built for being in cold places.
Yeah, they're really not.
So anytime I see free range in heavy quotation marks because they're just running around a neighborhood, peacocks, especially in the fall, I'm like, all right, where are you guys going for the winter? I don't know how we got there, Mason. Is that a reference? I don't get the. I didn't watch any Chainsaw Man.
I did watch Chainsaw Man, but I do not recall that scene. Maybe it's later in the manga.
I don't know that one, Penguin. But nobody's favorite streaming app. Very true. Everybody bird up. Perfect.
The good thing about Chainsaw Man is power.
But I'm not talking about Allie. Okay, a really funny memory I have is in it was grade school. I can't remember if it was elementary or middle school. It was grade school. We had just watched some sort of video on science, or I had just seen it. I can't. No. Okay, hold on. I have to back up. This is like unlocked a big memory for me. So I can't. It had to be elementary school. It might have been elementary school or middle school, but there was a thing. It must have been middle school, actually. It must have been, because I was savvy enough to be able to search things on the computer by myself without an adult around. So I think it must have been middle school, but I can't exactly remember pinpoint it. But I was like on the younger side, And there was a news story. So YouTube is like fairly new. So I think it had to be middle school. YouTube is like
That had to be
fairly
middle
new.
school. There's no way it wasn't.
YouTube is like fairly new. And there was a news, segment about this woman who made educational videos on YouTube about the mating habits of different animals, where she would dress up as the animals. So we're talking like worms and like bed bugs. Somebody in chat has to fucking remember what this is, otherwise I will look it up. And the news story was like kind of like, is this an okay thing to do? Like, what is this? Blah blah blah, all this sort of thing. Of course, being a bio nerd, I'm like, this shit looks legit. No, okay, it sounds really weird, and that was like the whole point, but it really was very educational and like done very like well. Like, it wasn't creepy about it, you know what I'm saying? It was done very tastefully in like this really kind of like odd format. It was actually really, and I've like retained a lot of knowledge because of these. I watched these, and I have knowledge that come definitely from these videos. But I'm pretty sure one of those pieces of knowledge that came from one of those videos is the fact that when dragonflies mate, they like make like a little heart shape because they like connect their butts to like behind the head, and then they make this little like heart shape. Or they connect their butt something. It was like the way they connect, they make this little heart shape. And I learned that. I was like, oh, that's pretty fun. That's pretty interesting. Literally the next day or something, or like later that week, I was at school and my friends, and we were on the playground, and somebody, somebody had like 2 dragonflies land on them. And they're like, oh, this is so cool. And I was like, oh my god, they're mating. And then everyone went, ah! And I was like, this is the epicest shit. It's happening in front of me. And I did not grow out of this, because then in high school, we were in the park, the major park by where we live. Mars knows where it is. And we're in the major park where we live, and I was walking around with my 2 other friends at the time, walking around, and it was springtime again or whatever. And then my one friend, he points out, he's like, "Oh, those crows are fighting." And I look over, I was like, "Oh, nah." I'm like, "Nah, they're mating." Like, what? Like, yeah, it's happening. Time of year, such as like, I feel like. I don't know. Is that the ace in me? Or I'm just like, oh yeah, that's the birds and the bees. I got it down. But the rest of the shit, no. And then, wow, yeah, I'm realizing that my field of study has involved watching a lot of animal mating habits throughout my life.
That sounds about right.
Very interesting. Yeah, so we had the lady in the costumes, and then we have this moment, and then we had the lady in the costume also talked about ducks having like corkscrews and labyrinths. That was very interesting as well. So I remember ducks from her as well. But then I learned, then in college, I took I think it was ecology. It was ecology or evolution, I can't remember, where we watched banana slugs mate on a video. That was like a major thing, because it's really wild. Their like fun. Appendages come out, so they're yellow, and they like get into a tree when they're like ready to mate. They like bite each other. It's a whole thing. We don't need to go into it, but they get into a tree, and then they basically like have the mating appendage come down, and it like spirals around each other, and it's like vibrant blue, and it like flares out, and it looks like a flower. So it's a really wild thing to be like, wow, that's beautiful, but that's also, that this is a wild thing to think. And then
that's crazy.
We also learned about, same class, we saw ostriches doing it. And they have slinkies for dicks.
That's
Very odd.
fun.
It's very odd. Very odd.
Nature is
Nature's
weird.
weird. Ooh, the lady also did one with, like, whales. I remember the whale one, too. And dolphins! Ooh, I'm like, this is all coming back. She had a dolphin one, she had a whale one, she had earthworms and bed bugs and ducks. These were all, I know she did those. And then, also in college, there's one more. One more. Why am I blanking? I had it 2 seconds ago. Nope, it's gone. There's one more we specifically watched in college. Oh, hyenas! Because that one's wild. Hyenas, that's a crazy shit. Yeah, ostriches, Allie. At your own risk. Not Austrians. Ostriches.
Close.
You ever hear of that whale with their... I have not, Estrog. Very interesting. I recently ended up doing a lot of research into sharks. Because Dichotomy's server... I don't know if you're still here, Dichotomy. Yeah, I did a lot of shark research for that. Oh, the same reason the birth is horrific. Because of what the female has. It's a whole thing. Yeah, so then because of, you know, what happened in your server, I learned a lot about shark mating. And then, there's something else I had to look up. You know, we go anatomically correct in this household, for the most part. All of the characters I have made are completely Kendall. That's an interesting fact, Deathstroke. I learned that sharks have 2 uteruses, but they only have 1 cloaca. So they only it's not like there's a double hole or anything. It's just like a roll of the dice. Reproduced by budding, yes. Parthenogenesis. It's one of those things where it's just like toilets. You know, we don't need to figure it out. We don't need to discuss it, you know? You could just assume that they must go to the bathroom at some point, but they don't have to talk about it.
But we don't have to talk about it or show it on screen.
Except for the pain.
I did a thing.
You've never heard cloaca spoken out loud.
So much easier.
Yeah, guys.
Good
night, Mason. Bio school is weird.
Sleep well.
There's a lot more bio school stories
one of those places
that I could talk about.
Away from with so many stories.
Like, I would say science school in general. I would say practicing scientists are one of the wildest things to experience.
Science is
like,
weird.
Like
Science
research
is
scientists.
messy.
It's crazy. It's wild. Am I gonna have to make the bottom of your arm? I am, but I'm gonna figure that out later. I think it will look something like this. Oh, it will. So we're just gonna add that. Yeah, I will admit, Mars, I didn't...
Good improvement tonight.
I didn't make it easy for you. Because I certainly was missing a lot of lines.
I will learn. I will learn.
Well, ideally, I don't give you, like, only 90% finished shit.
I feel like we were both cracking under the pressure of this one. Because I'm like, okay, his arm must be hidden.
It's pretty wild,
this
Deathstroke.
thing.
Why have we gotten here? I don't remember how we got here, Allie. But there's definitely a reason. I will say, if you watch stream back, like, all of the thoughts connect somehow.
They do.
It's kind of lore world building consumer. But
No.
how do they? Yeah, literally penguin.
Yeah, that was bad as struck. I don't know why she ever said that.
Yeah. At a certain point, it's like just don't bother.
At a certain point, some parts of your story don't need to be explained.
Just don't answer. Just
Who
don't
the hell
answer.
cares?
Yeah. Okay, somebody will obviously ask. Such is life. You don't have to answer. I will multiple times, as I have before, be like, there's not a reason. Or, I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. That was our explanation for the medical stuff. It's like we have a solid plan.
It's one of those things where it's very like we have a vibe. The medical stuff is like I have a vibe of how I want medicine to look, and not a time period I want medicine to be.
It's D&D medicine.
Without magic.
That's what it is. Without the magic.
I want field medicine bushcraft level with general understanding of what your average person today would have of how you would have to, like, germ theory and shit. And then a slightly better, more specialized, skill set for that. The big thing is just, like, we learned about, like, having to wash your hands and shit way too late, guys. Like, it was a really, like, recent thing that it was, like, a big deal.
Characters could die, but we don't want them to die from not washing their hands.
Yeah, I like,
that would be lame.
Kind of sucks when in the past you would just die from just, like, existing bad. My character's only poop in fanfiction. There you go, see?
Come on, people of the past. Just don't exist bad. Penguin, so the whole thing was that apparently the toilets in the castle that will not be named, I'll be honest, I'm trying to distance myself from that franchise as much as possible. But from what
I think talking about how it was bad is fine.
Yeah, that's probably okay. But basically,
we're criticizing it.
Is there was a point in time where the bathrooms didn't exist. So, one, how did Salazar Slytherin get the snake into the girls' bathrooms if the girls' bathrooms never existed? And then two, if the bathrooms never existed, what did everyone do prior to that? And instead of saying something normal like an outhouse, hello, she said they vanished the poop away. Like, why? You could have just said outhouse on the castle grounds. What is wrong with you?
Yep.
Granted, that is the least of what's wrong with this author.
Oh, I gotta see this alley problem because shapeshifter shit is really crazy, and we like this shit.
Ooh.
The game that way, where does the mask go? So, Allie, you can't... So yes, magic makes everything very easy. However, there are a lot of things where you should still, or you could still, put limitations on the magic part of it. But another good example is like when we talk about werewolves. And the amount... A big thing that usually comes into it is that the transformation is actually... if we're like... ruling out magic as the main, like, catch-all, right, is that the transformation is what makes them so ravenous, because they are expending all of this energy and generating all this mass, or needing to generate all this mass back. That is why they're so ravenous. So when you think about werewolves, right, they're usually bigger than the person is, so they would be, upon original transformation, very gaunt and, seeing the ribs showing and very skinny. That's why they're so fucking hungry and go on a rampage, is because they have to put that weight on really fast because they've lost it all in doing something like that. So, What do you mean? Don't feel the criminals? What about time zones? Yeah, right. It's midnight where they are. That's what they can tell the difference. It's midnight of the moon. But can practice death at the altar. I think it's fine to talk about in abstract, you know? Saying that, like, to wash away something is kind of tough. But so I love that, Allie, about that. A big thing in, like, Dungeons and Dragons is you can, when you're a changeling, you can transform, but you have to have the same general body shape and number of limbs, right? So if you were a changeling who was a humanoid, you know, let's say I was a human, normally changeling, I couldn't changeling into a centaur because that is a completely different body shape and different amount of limbs. So that's a lot of mass that I would have to be juggling around and generating or losing somehow, somewhere. And so that's like a rule in D&D. So even though it's magic, you know, like there are limitations. Versus if I was a centaur changeling, I could be a centaur changeling and change into, say, like a different type of horse and a different humanoid on top, or like a completely different four-legged creature maybe and a different humanoid on top, and those sort of things. So there's like a limitation you can put there. Other things you could do is similar, kind of how like Ant-Man did it a little bit, and that's changing the density of your character. So they don't actually, so remember, density is mass divided by volume. It doesn't work exactly how Ant-Man works, but you can take the general concept and kind of like magic tweak it, right? No, please, Allie, these are not my ideas. These are like media's ideas. I did not come up with any of these. Please use them to your heart's content. Change them up. I just love this sort of shit. This is how like I like speculative biology. So this is my like place. I love this. I love doing this. There's obviously, like in Outcast, the way collars work, kinda, yeah, we're talking about changelings and how they could work and like gain mass or you know, change shape and, you know, be larger or smaller and things like that, Pastry Puff, without logically having to just hand wave its magic, like fully 100%. Cause like with the collars and Outcast, I specifically want them to be a biological thing, right? There's not magic in Outcast that's like a thing. You know, these are biological evolutionary stuff. But how they fully evolved 100%, we don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know. It literally doesn't matter. How all of the genetics fully work, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to matter. We don't even know today how certain things got from one place to another. We are slowly figuring it out sometimes. We get new fossils and things, but we don't actually know. And in this sort of like low tech, it's not low tech, this no tech but low science world kind of thing, right? They sort of don't need to know that, and they don't need to do that sort of thing. Yes, they do that, Estrock, exactly, and that's how it doesn't, like, exactly work. But again, you can, like, say it's magic with a little bit of magic versus being just flat magic, and that's totally a choice. It can literally be just, it's only magic. Yeah, and exactly, it's not magic, it's waterbending, you know, it's not magic, it's the Force, etc. But, like, you can get to a point where the magic is the smallest bit of it, and I think that can be more interesting, but, like, again, I still like magic werewolves and magic changelings. Like, they're still a cool concept either way. Double Trouble is epic, and who the fuck knows how that works? Doesn't matter. The last one I was trying to say is you could play around with the density, so your, like, let's say, like, back to werewolf, just general idea of, like, this is a human-sized and shaped person, now to a definitely larger, you know, werewolf-shaped person. That could be that, that person is more dense. And that can affect, and you can show that affecting them. So that could be a very interesting sort of thing, where it's like, how someone might be able to tell that they're a little weird, a little off, a little changeling thing on the side, right? Like, you could have something like that. Big things with density are your buoyancy in water. If you are denser than your average person, you are going to sink. That's kind of weird. It's a little odd, but it's not necessarily a big thing. Some people sink like stones, you know, who knows? These sort of things. Because you would want, if you want the bigger form to be the average in the sense of like they're not extra light, which could be an issue of their durability, you would make the smaller form more dense. So that would affect things like that. It could affect mostly buoyancy, but like any time where they have to like do, you know, friction related stuff. So you can have little moments where it's like, oh, you're more solid than we expected. You're XYZ, harder to move, right? Inertia, all that sort of thing. Harder to stop. Could just be little things that seem kind of like innocuous, but putting them all together could lead to be like, oh, this is kind of like not the normal person. No. But if you want to go the other way and you want their larger form to be less dense, again, changes the buoyancy, but it would also change like the frailness of their bones. So think about like birds having the quote-unquote hollow bones. Their bones aren't hollow. Their bones are just less dense because there's more place in there. I feel like a very classic thing to think of when you think of hollow bones is that your bone is like a straw. This is not true. That's not how bird bones work. They're not just straws.
That's not how those bones work.
That's not how those bones work. But they are much, much, much more porous, basically. Your bones are not solid. They have veins and stuff running through them. Bird bones have just a lot more space in there. Yeah, exactly. It's chalk. So you have a lot more things there. And that would make them more frail, right? More brittle. Taking hard damage there could be more difficult, but they might be able to be more agile, you know, move around faster and these sort of things. So it would be a trade-off. Them getting, you know, glass cannon type of thing. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
Is it dying physics? I did not like physics, Allie. I will say, I did not like original physics. I did get to take a course in college that was called Physics of Life. And it's actually really, really cool. If you ever have the ability to take a course like that, I do recommend it because what it was for me is specifically how physics relates to biology. It wasn't physics in relation to engineering and mechanics. It was physics and how traits and things have evolved for nature to be the way that it is. So it talks about
way more fun.
Physics in relation to trees are a laminate structure. The trunks of trees are a laminate where you have multiple layers of something, you know, adhered together. And that makes them more flexible, and it actually makes them more durable to an extent, because should one of those layers crack, all of those layers won't necessarily crack because it hits that gap, that glue, quote-unquote, layer. So trees making that rings is actually them laminating themselves in their wood, and that's what makes trees able to get to their size and bend and sway without falling over all the time. So it's really cool. It also talks about compression and the other one that I'm blanking on, but the opposite one of how tree limbs work and how you know, they bend with force. And so putting out like you know, a limb and where the force would be when you bend and compress, because when you so weight on it, expansion, that might be it. That might be it. But how, so then it bends down, the underside is being compressed versus the top side is being, you know, stretched, expanded, and different things like that. There's like different levels of, because strength is like a specific word when it comes to physics. There's like strength and hardness and, you know, XYZ, and it's like different depending on what it is, and that means your failures are different, but the ways that you can withstand certain, you know, external forces is different. It talks about the physics of walking and in different creatures.
You gotta find the right classes.
How it walks. It talks about how elephant limbs work compared to like human limbs, and how The physics of walking is like a whole really interesting thing. So it was a very interesting course. I'm sad that I unfortunately had to take it online because it was online. It was online only, which was very sad because I feel like I would have had a better time getting to be in a lecture, personally. But such is life. Is something new about Cast? There was a new episode that came out yesterday, Federico. This is the next episode that I've been slowly working on, not as fast as I should be. And we're ending soon, sadly. But hello, how are you?
Welcome, welcome. Glad you could catch the last few minutes.
Yes. I was going over Mars's mistakes and my own mistakes. And all the mistakes. And making the final edits before I have to go in and do all the backgrounds and prop work before doing the final render of everything.
And I made that just a little bit harder for her by combining the lines with the flats.
Yeah, she did hurt me really bad in one scenario. I will say that one hurt my soul a little bit, not gonna lie. Okay.
Oh. The streams are too good. Aw.
Aw, I'm so glad, Ellie. I was a brain. Like I said before, nearly nothing will stop me from streaming, even sickness. So we still stream anyway. I also like to stream is
when she goes out into the world, you guys. I unfortunately do, so I
don't. I also, to be honest, don't lose my voice very much. Mars.
You are lucky.
Mars is a little voice loss prone, which is really tough
the talkie job.
For her job and her.
I got the talkie job and the talkie hobby.
Yeah, and the singy pastime.
Oh yes, I love singing too.
Yeah, Mars kind of screwed herself.
I screwed myself. Damn.
Yeah. Bad specs, Mars. Respec.
Bad specs indeed.
Respec.
I'm sorry, I put all of my allotted points into my singing specs and writing specs. What was I supposed to do?
Well, the writing doesn't really affect the voice, I will say. That's okay. You'd never do karaoke? I have multiple times done karaoke, and I've made my father do it with me.
I have done karaoke as well. It can be fun. It can be fun at times.
Mars committed the artist sin? What artist sin did she commit?
What's the artist sin? Oh, was it combine the lines with the
flats? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's what it was.
You're not
Were you here for that, Ellie? I don't know if you were here for that. Exonerable nature of time. Yep, exactly. We do all hate it. God, what this... Favorite music to sing? If the lyrics are good, I'll sing it. I don't know. Musicals are pretty great, but...
I will admit this.
So is pop.
Since watching To Be Hero X, I have had 2 songs on loop. Inertia, the opening to the show, and Paragon, the song that plays during the main character's hero moment. And that is what I've been listening to all day and singing along to all day.
I have mostly recently been listening to and singing along to 2 artists that have multiple songs that just make really, really, really good animatic fodder. And I just get to imagine that all the time while I think about it. One of them is a song, both artists have one song each that I have started an animatic to. And both of them will be finished because one of them is actually really short and I really, really want it to exist because I feel like the vibe is just too good and I hope people will like it and then read the comic. And the other one is the Ace Attorney one that I also really, really, really want to exist. Honestly, for similar reasons. Because I need all of that. Okay, I don't know. tangent is weird here. That's what happened here. Alright, guys. Well, thank you all for coming. Hope you have a lovely Wednesday hump day. Nice and easy, nice and chill. Yells of the artist woes. Yeah, the yell of the artist woes. Here, give bar before. And you sang, I can't decide and I'm all of you. Ooh, nice. Got to hear Ori yell. Oh, yeah, when I said no. I listen to this song, sometimes you just, Allie, I recommend starting with little dribbles and just, like, going in, not pretending, accepting that you're going to do a shitty job. Not in the sense of that, like, you're gonna put in effort and it's gonna be bad. Go in with the intent of just getting it done as fast as possible. Because that's literally how the animatics in the Ace Attorney videos started, the Animinies. Because literally I was like, I really want to animate this. But animating, you know, frame by frame is really hard and a lot. And it's like, alright, I'm just gonna sit down for 2 hours and see what, damn! Canadian Lucifer. Wow. Glad you weren't in there when it caught fire. Or okay. Unless you were there. I'm glad you're safe. However you were when it caught fire. It wasn't you, was it? No, I don't think it was you. You are a Lucifer, though. I don't know.
No, Canadian Lucifer only causes scuff on Ace Attorney.
I see.
Not fire. We all know this.
I see.
Glad you're safe, though.
But yeah, and I went in and I just did a shitty Maya Phoenix one, and I literally did it and I banged it out in like an hour max, and I was just like, accept this, and I like sent it to like Mars and Dylan, and they're both like, oh my god, this is so cool, and I was like, oh wow. If it moves, the expectations are pretty low. They really are, guys. I've put in hours into animation, and it got like no views, and then I put like 1 hour into something, and it got like 17,000 views, and I was like, okay. So, yeah, Allie. I would say, bite the bullet, find something that's literally like 1 or 2 seconds long, and just knuckle down and make a shitty, like purposefully go into it making a shitty animation in like 2 hours and just see what the fuck happens. I'm serious. That's how it got out of me. I was like 5 a.m. Okay, that's good. Everyone's safe then. Well, now we'll actually end stream. There's so much interesting shit at the end of stream. My god. Thank you all for coming.
It really is.
Goodbye again.
Swinging.
You guys are just too interesting at the end. I know, Allie, and I spent a long time on that. I will say, at least though, Fee Fi Fo Fum, I spent a really long time on, and that did get its dues on TikTok, so I can't complain. But, have a lovely Wednesday. Hopefully, next stream, Thursday, hopefully Cersei will be done. I think she will be done. I actually did, like, some more stuff after stream, so she's pretty fucking close to done. So I'm very certain, and maybe we'll get to draw Finger. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to draw Fingy. I hope we get to draw Fingy. I want to start Fingy. All right.
Amazing.
Let us go. Thank you to our YouTube channel members. If you want to watch the whole Tangle Tower Stream 1 videos edited, you can become a Psychic Sidekick like Kenneth here, and get to watch them all right now, and not have to wait, because they're only coming out on Tuesdays every other week, because the Ace Attorney mob is hungry.
This is the special Tangle Tower Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for the next few weeks.
All right. Have a great night, y'all, and we'll see you Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Have a great